of the day, everyone. I'm Sabrina Salas-Matanani with our D14 analysts, Jess Lujan, Tony Babalta, and Sean Gumatauta. Welcome to our live coverage of the great debate here at the University of Guam, Calvo Fieldhouse. We've got Team Calvo Tenorio and Gutierrez Gumatauta getting ready to throw down. The great debate, as many of you know, is typically the last major face-off between the gubernatorial teams before the general election. Their supporters are making their way inside to get a good seat for the big show, but the best seats, however, are the ones you have, our viewers watching us either on TV and or online. What's also exciting about this event is the fact that you're not only able to watch the great debate from the comforts of your home, but also you can interact with broadcast. We are streaming live right now on our YouTube channel, which has an ongoing chat room of people from all over the world commenting on tonight's event. We'll also be asking you on Facebook which gubernatorial team did better for each of the issues to be presented tonight. Jason is back in our Harmon offices culling your best tweets throughout the debate. After the forum, we will share your comments as well as our poll results and discuss them with our G14 analysts who, as I mentioned earlier, are with us right now. Guys, this is it. What should we expect tonight?
Well, you know, I was here at PXC last week, and this is definitely a livelier crowd than it was last week. I can hardly hear what you're saying, but anyways, no, it's definitely, you know, this is a rally, basically. You know, I mean, of course, it's a debate, but yeah, we expect that the gloves are going to come off and they're going to come out swinging. Definitely. We've got, we've got a former governor. He's been angry, so this is his main event.
What about you?
I mean, with a few days left before the campaign, this is really the defining moment for both candidates, for Governor Calvo and for former Governor Gutierrez, and for their supporters. This is a chance for the people of Guam to finally hear the last set of ideas of which direction they want the island to go into. And over the course of the weekend, as people leave and talk to their families and friends, this is really where I think people's minds are going to be made up, and we'll see what the result of it's going to be on November 4th.
Sean, you had an opportunity to talk with some of the supporters and some of the campaign chairs. What were they telling you tonight?
You know, since 1994, this has been the signature event that guides, well, the electorate when they take that ballot in about 5 days. A lot of the crowd, they want to hear their governor, their candidate for governor, articulate what the next 4 years will look like. They want to know healthcare. They want to know public safety. They do want to know about the economy. Believe it or not, they are really interested to hear about what the plans are. Now, we expect a lot of, as Jesse mentioned, a little bit of fireworks early on. But everyone I spoke to tonight, they are really excited about it. Both camps are ready to go. But really, it's how they get their issues out tonight's going to guide what will happen in the voters' booth on Tuesday.
You know, before tonight's debate, there was this debate about draft questions that were released early on. Gutierrez was kind of upset about that, saying that, you know, that kind of leads to scripted responses, kind of an essay sort of a response. Do you agree?
Well, I've got to say, I mean, they have a new guy within their media team, and he's a rookie at this, and he knows. And you got to look at it as a rookie mistake, because all camps know that, and John knows this, that when it comes to debates like this, they give information out as to what possibly the realm of the questions that they're going to ask to prepare this. So it's not giving the exact question. They're giving an idea of what realm of questions that they're going to ask. And again, Sean knows this probably better than any of us here.
Well, you know, in 2002, as president of the Society of Professional Journalists, we gave the questions in advance. When we were preparing Governor Camacho in the second run, Dr. Mike Cruz, the same thing. So everyone has all the questions. It's more for political theater than anything else.
It's not an unusual practice, either in politics or even in government, when you conduct public hearings to make sure that you have that sort of conversation, that exchange between the two candidates. What would be worrisome is if you had the questions and you didn't make good answers. That would be the worrisome part.
My question is, Tony, is who's going to have the fan under the podium?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
There's a lot of fans in the stands right now. I don't think any of the podium.
Well, there's a big difference between their debate styles. You have Calvo, he's more reserved. Gutierrez, he's more aggressive, right? Well, same can be said for the lieutenant governor candidates as well. Do you think we'll continue to see that this evening?
I think when I spoke to them before, they are going to come out just as they came out at the Rotary event, the Guam Medical Association. It's a strong likelihood they're going to continue that their style. They're stylistically, they're all four very different public speakers. So I think you're going to see much of the same that we saw over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think everyone's passion comes out when they're answering questions and when they're trying to give the people of Guam what their vision is for the next 4 years. We have two governors up there. And so in the same regard, I think those people who maybe aren't as closely aligned with one camp or another, they really want to see the statesman-like quality in the governor and the leader that's going to lead the island for the next 4 years.
I've had an opportunity to serve with Senator Calvo at the time of the legislature, and it takes a lot for him to really just lose it more or less, right? But when you get him to the point, yeah, he's definitely going to come out swinging tonight, at a calm, cool demeanor, the Eddie Calvo way. That's the way he's going to do it. I think Carl Gutierrez is going to be Carl Gutierrez, as he's always been. So I don't expect any different from him. As I said earlier, he's been angry. He's gotten angrier. And I think tonight, we're going to see the epitome of his anger tonight.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We'll check in with you a little bit later after the debate. And we are going to take a break. But when we return, KUAM's live broadcast of the great debate will commence. Remember, our broadcast is completely interactive. Go to KUAM's Facebook page and post your comments as well. Let us know who you think won tonight's showdown. We'll have the results and analysis after the debate. Keep it here.
It's because of you that we can be proud of how far we've come.
We are in a state of fiscal and economic urgency. Working hours have been reduced, salaries cut, and thousands of our people have lost their jobs altogether.
More Guamanians are working. Unemployment has been trending down. Affordable homes are rising throughout our villages.
The long-term systemic problems surrounding Guam Memorial Hospital will not be solved by the time I leave office.
There's also a new modern emergency room with more doctors and nurses caring for anyone.
It will be difficult just to maintain an adequate public health delivery system and to provide our children with even the basic tools to learn.
We carved out $4 million in general fund revenues to pay for universal pre-K. And that means that we'll be able to open Head Start to every 4-year-old, regardless of family income or any other factor.
The state of the island is in your hands. Choose the right direction. Re-elect Calvo Tenorio.
Buenas and half a day Tata Guam, Paul Roland Perez Cosito, si Tata Loy Cabello Cosito Tata Philippines, si now Alfreda Perez Cosito, Pamilyan Bonyo.
Kuahu si Ann Gumatauto Casito, Tatahu si Juan Lujan Gumatauto, Pamilyan Binado, Zansinanahu si Maria Blas Castro Gumatauto, Pamilyan Bada.
I am a Vietnam veteran and a 65-year-old member of Guam's community. As a tomorrow man, the safety of my family is what I live for.
Our children and grandchildren deserve to be safe and protected. That's why I'm asking you to vote for my son-in-law, Senator Brant McCready, who puts public safety first.
He cares about our community, he cares about our children, and he cares about protecting our island. Please, re-elect our son-in-law, Senator Brant McCready.
Vota Izet Noku, si Senator Brant McCready.
Carl Gutierrez says he cares for those in need, yet while in office, didn't pay earned income tax credits.
Governor Gutierrez has admitted that he stopped paying the EITC, and he's blaming the federal government. Every time there's a problem, it's somebody else's fault. When you want to be a leader and you want to take charge, you also have to take some responsibility.
While Carl talks about helping the people, Governor Eddie Calvo actually does something about it, fully paying EITC. People for the right direction. Emily M. Pinko, Treasurer.
Something spooky comes to Docomo Pacific. We're putting a spell on your phones with prices that will make your blood chill. Get the Samsung Galaxy S3 for $49, the Galaxy S4 for $149, or the S5 or Note 3 for only $299. This Halloween, we have prices so low, you're sure to have a fright. No tricks, just treats. Docomo Pacific, the choice is clear. Some conditions apply. Call 688-CARE for more details.
Carl Gutierrez said GMH could never be accredited.
No matter what you do, JCO would never accredit that hospital. I've been there, I tried it. You're going to be in for a rude awakening, no matter what plan you put together.
But once Gutierrez left office, the Camacho Cruz administration got GMH accredited, and the hospital was reaccredited under the Calvo Tenorio administration. On November 4th, vote for results over excuses. People for the right direction. Emily M. Pinko, Treasurer.
In celebration of its 20th year, TFC, together with Western Union and Cebu Pacific, for the benefit of the EMC Cancer Foundation, presents Galing ng Filipino, a TFC 20 celebration, starring Mr. Pure Energy Gary Valenciano, Asia's acoustic sensation Isa Sigera, Mr. Super Selfie Gab Valenciano, Dental Diva Kakay Bautista, at the University of Guam Fieldhouse, November 8. Get your tickets at Shell stations and National Office Supply. For details, visit www.tpiguam.com. Like us on Facebook. Galing ng Filipino, a TFC 20 celebration. Also brought to you by San Miguel, Jollibee, Camellia Homes, Ayala Land, Outrigger, Shell, and our partners KUAM Megamix. Bayanihan. Don't miss it.
In his 2010 campaign, Carl Gutierrez claimed that if Eddie Calvo won, he would raise insurance rates 300% for Guam workers and protect his family business. What did Governor Calvo actually do? Not only did he negotiate lower rates with better benefits, but he added new insurance companies, saving millions of taxpayer dollars. What claims will Carl try this election? Whatever they are, Governor Calvo can't wait to prove him wrong again.
People for the right direction. Emily M. Pinko, Treasurer.
In 2002, Governor-elect Felix Camacho and Lieutenant Governor-elect Kaleo Moylan were shocked at the state of the government that Carl Gutierrez had left behind. Camacho said the government appears to be carrying $100 million in unpaid bills and on its way to overspending its budget by $100 million. Moylan said during Carl's time, a veil of secrecy has critically damaged the government's credibility. Is that the kind of government you want to go back to? Let's keep Guam moving in the right direction.
People for the right direction. Emily M. Pinko, Treasurer.
And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce from the Master of Public Administration program and also the Student Government Association President, the 53rd Student Government Association, Ms. Melissa Kanata, and the former President of the Student Government Association, Mr. Jesse Kenga.
Check. Half a day, ladies and gentlemen. I think they asked us to make this a little more lively. So let's say we're ready. Half a day and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2014 Gubernatorial Great Debate. My name is Jesse Kenga.
Half a day, my name is Melissa Kanata, and on behalf of our Public Administration program, the School of Business and Public Administration, the University of Guam, we would like to welcome you all here tonight.
Now, before we really begin, what do you say we give the viewers at home a small opportunity to feel the excitement in the room?
Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun tonight. So let's hear it, all the Democrats in the field house. Let me hear your loudest yeehaw!
Now. That was pretty good. But now let's hear it for the Republicans. Let's hear your loudest. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
There
you very
are
much. Great
others.
job.
There are others in the room. Go ahead, Melissa.
And for all the independents,
Please raise your hand. And a campaign will be at your door, ready to pull your vote. Now, let's see.
let's go ahead and get to the real reasons why we're here today.
Okay.
So why don't we gauge the entertainment or the excitement of the individual camps?
Sure. My elephant noise wasn't that great, so let's start things off again. If you're here for the right direction, wanting 4 more years, let's hear it for Team Calvo Tenorio.
Now, if you're here for Leadership for All and 4 years of sunshine, let's hear it for Team Gutierrez Gumatao. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Melly, I think it's time to really get the show on the road. We got new questions that we like to ask.
Yes, we do. So introducing the 10th president of the University of Guam, Dr. Robert Underwood.
Buenas noches, dan hafade todos hamzo. A great university like the University of Guam deserves a great debate. A great people like the people of Guam deserve a great debate. A great debate is more likely when the candidates themselves are great. And this is the case this evening. I know all 4 candidates, and they are committed to their ideas and their ideals, and they are tenacious in their advocacy of their candidacy. A great debate does not provide automatic answers to questions that have already been asked. Nor does a great debate ask questions which play gotcha. A great debate requires thought, interaction, connection, and arriving at answers that may have not been thought of before this moment. Of course, we have our hopes that this will be the great debate that is worthy of a great people and a great university. I have no doubt that the students of the university, who are the most responsible for tonight's event, will rise to the occasion. I have no doubt that the candidates will leave the stage wishing they had more time to get their message across. I have no doubt that the audience will be thoughtful and respectful, because most of all, a great debate deserves a great audience. Ifinit na finanagwi gihalumitaw totono, iparamana siguro naman arespetahit. Natana siguro na hanamas dido kihinasota, ipalabra ni para tahungok pago na puengi, na ginini inagway sa inafa maulik tanina komprende, na uhudong isidbisyo ni Hamiresi Itautog. Many of us grew up hearing Viva San Francisco or Viva San Jose in fiesta celebrations. Almost all of us have had the opportunity to hear Viva, insert your favorite candidate name here. But tonight, our Vivas should go to a great university and a great people. Viva UOG!
Viva!
Viva Tauto Guam!
Viva!
Si Diyos Masi.
Thank you, Dr. Underwood, for those great words. At this time, we would like to introduce the Endowment Director, Mr. Mark Mendiola, to deliver his remarks.
Buenas and hafade, man maguf, naman motu hamzo pagos in Papuengi. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the University of Guam Endowment Board of Directors, our Chairman, Mr. Jesse Leongaro, our Vice Chairman, Governor Joseph Ada, Mr. George Chu, our Treasurer, Mr. David John, Ms. Elaine Jones, Mr. Jerry Calvo, former President of UOG, Mr. Dr. Wilfred Leon Guerrero, Dr. Saeed Safabash, and Mr. Frank Taitano. We supported this event because we knew that the students have something to show and to share with our community. We are grateful for the opportunity to bring this show to the people of Guam so that they can make an educated decision on their vote, their right to vote. So on behalf of the University of Guam Endowment Foundation, Sizuas Maasi for coming out and supporting our students and our great university. Biba UOG.
Viva!
Thank you, Mr. Mendiola. Now we would like to introduce our interim dean of the School of Business and Public Administration, Dr. Annette Tyron Santos.
Buenas, Zenhapade. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2014 gubernatorial great debates for the candidates of Governor and Lieutenant Governor of Guam. This debate is being broadcast live by KUAM, News Talk K57, and Isla 63. The University of Guam School of Business and Public Administration, along with the UOG Endowment Foundation, are sponsors of this event, which was organized by the graduating Master of Public Administration students in the School of Business and Public Administration. Again, my name is Dr. Annette Tyron Santos, Interim Dean of the School of Business and Public Administration, and I am your moderator for this evening's event. We are pleased to have a large number of dignitaries in our audience. We are pleased to recognize the leaders of the University administration. Again, I'd like to recognize the University of Guam President, Dr. Robert Underwood. I would also like to recognize his lovely wife, Dr. Narissa Underwood. Please welcome Dr. Anita Enriquez, Senior Vice President, Academic and Student Affairs. I would also like to recognize David O'Brien, Vice President, Administration and Finance. I also would like to recognize the School of Business and Public Administration Advisory Council Chairman, Mr. Mike Nahalawa. We are also joined by Public Administration and Legal Studies faculty who have worked tirelessly for many months to make this debate a reality. They are Dr. Ron McNinch, Chair, Division of Public Administration and Legal Studies. Dr. John Rivera, Program Chair, Master of Public Administration Program. I also want to recognize the faculty of the School of Business and Public Administration who are present here tonight. Dr. Ancito Walter, Dr. Fred Schumann, Dr. Doreen Crisostomo, and Professor Ron Uggan. We also want to recognize island dignitaries joining us this evening. I would like to welcome our guests this evening, our candidates for Governor and Lieutenant Governor of Guam. I'd like to welcome candidate for Governor Edward Calvo and his wife, First Lady Christine Calvo. I would like to recognize Lieutenant Governor Raymond Tenorio and his wife, Attorney Naoko Shimizu. I would like to recognize former Governor Carl Gutierrez and former First Lady Jerry Gutierrez. I would also like to recognize Attorney Gary Gumatau and special guest Atsuko Kate. Also joining us, Senator Frank Uggan, Senator Aline Yamashita, Senator Rory Respicio, Senator Tina Munya Barnes, Senator Michael Nicholas, Senator Tom Adda, former Senator Joanne Brown, former Senator Tello Tidegweed, former Senator Jesse Lujan, former Senator Ted Nelson, former Senator Tony Blas, former Senator Judy Gutierrez, former Senator Mana Silva Tyron, and former Senator and Vice Speaker Franklin Gutierrez. I also want to recognize the mayors who are in the House this evening. Mayor Ben Gumatau, Mayor Ernest Chargwilov, Mayor Kenjo Adda, Mayor Doris Lujan, Mayor Luis Rivera, Mayor Carol Tayama, Mayor Rudy Matanani, Vice Mayor Gus Quintanilla, and Vice Mayor Kenneth Cruz Santos. I also want to recognize former Assistant Secretary, U.S. Department of Interior, Tony Babauta, and in his capacity as former Governor of Chuuk, Dr. Encito Walter. We express our appreciation to Mr. Jude Kamemo and the Field House staff for the use of this fine facility and the preparation leading to tonight's event. We also want to recognize the many student volunteers who have assisted in organizing, coordinating, and producing this debate. Will the members of the Great Debate Planning Committee please stand and be recognized? I also want to recognize the many partners highlighted in the Great Debate booklet, as well as the SBPA Administrative Support Team, Lillian Chargolov, Chris Tovis, Natasha Cruz, Dorothy Borja, and the UOG Endowment Foundation Director Mark Mendiola, and his team, Jessica Paris Jackson, Jaron Uggan, Cheryl Eusebio, and Brianna Leon Guerrero, who worked closely with our students on the very fine details to ensure we traverse smoothly to this evening's event. The student panel who will pose the questions tonight are seated in the middle of the stage. They are Miss Tasha Wade, Miss Maria Teresa Dondi Quintans, Mr. Anthony Kenga, and Mr. Danny Gonzalez. Our timekeepers are Miss Liz Brown, Miss Burley Ann Higgins, Mr. William Pickey, Miss Angelina Tretnoff, Miss Joanna Kassam, and Mr. James Castro. Now it is time to introduce the gubernatorial teams participating in tonight's great debate. This introduction is based upon the order that the teams drew by coin toss on October 23rd at the Jesus and Eugenia Leon Guerrero Business and Public Administration Building atrium. The team to my left, the Honorable former Governor Carl Gutierrez and Attorney Gary Gumatauta. The team to my right, the Honorable Governor Edward Calvo and the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Raymond Tenorio. The format and procedures of the debate are as follows. Please listen carefully. Each candidate will be allowed 3 minutes for his opening statement in the order chosen by coin toss, executed on the 23rd of October. That means each candidate team will have 3 minutes for their opening statement. Next, there will be 3 rounds with 13 tracks of questions by the student panel. The first round will have 6 questions for the candidates for governor. The second round will consist of 3 tracks for the candidates for lieutenant governor. And the third round will have 4 tracks for the candidates for governor. The first round will consist of 6 questions, 1 for each candidate to answer in 2 minutes. The other candidate will have 2 minutes to respond. The candidates have been asked to answer the questions directly and constructively. The second round will consist of 3 questions, 1 for each candidate to answer in 2 minutes. The other candidate will have 2 minutes to respond. The candidates have been asked to answer the questions directly and constructively. The third round will consist of 4 questions, 1 for each candidate to answer in 1 minute. The other candidate will then have 1 minute to respond. The candidates have been asked to answer the questions directly and constructively. Time is regulated by our student timekeepers, who have, in addition to their stopwatches, large signs so that the debaters will be aware of the time constraints. Timekeepers will inform you of time remaining at the 1 minute mark, the 30-second mark, and when your time is up. When the timer bell rings, your time is up, and I will move on with the program. Upon completion of the debate questions and responses, there will then be an opportunity for each candidate's closing statement. The audience is asked to be courteous to all speakers and not interrupt their presentations. Should the audience lose decorum, we will impose a penalty to the party of the disruptive side. Your cooperation and respect of this event will be appreciated. We will now have the opening statements of our candidates. Candidates, please approach the podium. Each team will be allotted 3 minutes for a total, so each team will be allotted 3 minutes for their opening statement. We will begin with the Honorable Edward Calvo, candidate for Governor of Guam, and the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Raymond Tenorio, candidate for Lieutenant Governor of Guam. Your time begins now.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to first of all thank all of University of Guam, and most importantly, the students of University of Guam who set up this great debate this evening, this final week before the election of 2014. And also to all of you, my dear people of Guam. I'm going to focus on our record in the future. But first, let me speak a little bit and stand up for my integrity. My opponent has spent about a month and a lot of effort in just one campaign tactic. The lie that I gave tax write-offs to a family business. In the past few days, after I've said so many times no, it has been proven a lie. And I'm sure he's gonna say more charges. But I ask you, Mr. Gutierrez, you're looking in the wrong place, because this is not the Gutierrez administration. My dear people of Guam, there are two teams here that have a vision for Guam. Which one will you trust? I ask you to trust the team that keeps its promises to you. And you know that team is Calvo Tenorio. Many in politics take credit for many things, but in this last debate of my last gubernatorial run, unlike my opponent, I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. To the teachers, the parents, and the students that have fixed our public schools and improved the quality of education in our schools. To the nurses and the doctors and all those that work at GMH who have fixed our hospital and improved the quality of patient care. To all my fellow GovGuam co-workers for transforming this government and returning its power to the people. To all of you that are working in the private sector for making this economy grow. And to all of you, my fellow Guamanians. You know, my fellow Guamanians, we are heading in the right direction. We are heading in the right direction. The difference with this administration is that it gave confidence in the people of Guam. It's not a governor that he says he's a king and everyone is beholden to him. It's an administration that believes if you give the people the opportunity, if you believe in the people of Guam, then this island and this people, they will thrive. And we will thrive and take us to our greatest heights. Let's continue to move in the right direction. And that is Calvo Tenorio. Thank you, and God bless you to the people of Guam.
Thank you. Next, I introduce to you the Honorable former Governor Carl Gutierrez, candidate for Governor of Guam, and Lieutenant Attorney Gary Gumatautel, candidate for Lieutenant Governor of Guam. Your time begins now.
Buenas noches, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, mananaw at Manilu. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat, mga kaibigan kong Pilipino. We thank the students for organizing this important debate in the Calvo Fieldhouse. My dear people, our campaign has been a very short one. We just began in July, 4 months ago. Yet it has been an incredible 4 months, primarily because it started as a people's movement. It has been you, the people, who took charge and moved this campaign forward. The election is truly about the people. Both Gary and I have a proven record of always standing up for you no matter what. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, mananada Manilu, that when you elect us, you get the bonus of having Jerry Gutierrez as your first lady. A daughter of the island who epitomizes the spirit of Inafa Molik, people helping people, bayanihan, pakikiyasa. Ladies and gentlemen, our people are hurting from the high cost of living, violent crimes, and the lack of affordable health care. The government is no longer helping our people, but hurting them. We seem to be losing our special half-a-day spirit. This administration has borrowed us to the absolute limit with no contingency plan. In the event we suffer from a natural disaster, economic downturn, or public health crisis. What they have done is sentence our children and grandchildren to a future of unimaginable debt while their friends and family profit at our people's expense. We need leaders who care for every single one of our people, not just for a select few. Leaders who are not afraid to come before you and answer the hard questions directly and unscripted.
Let's talk 3.6 million, Governor. You gave a write-off to your business associates for Calvo Insurance Underwriter. That money belongs to the people of Guam. You gave it away, yet you had the nerve to go to the legislature and ask for money for overtime for police officers when you could have had 3.6 million. That money belongs to us, not to your friends at AIG, a $500 billion company. Why did you do it? Because you're self-dealing, because you're corrupt, because you do things to help your family. You did not do it for the people of Guam. Your job as a fiduciary is to take care of the people. Where's the 3.6? Is it the 3 million you gave to the university? Last time I looked, if you rob a bank and you give the money back, you're still a crook.
We thank all our candidates for their excellent opening statements. After a short commercial break, we will return and begin round one of our panel questions for the candidates for governor. Please stay tuned.
Buenas, this is Madeline Bordallo. I have dedicated a lifetime of service to our people as a delegate, lieutenant governor, senator, and first lady. I am proud to join the other first ladies in support of the Gutierrez Umatao team.
Hafade Mabuhay. This is Joanne Camacho. We need leaders that truly have us in their hearts. This election is not about party, but voting for the team that will help all the people of Guam. Carl and my cousin Gary are committed to doing just that.
Our lives have always been about helping people. Guaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Goth importante esta eleksyon para iminaulik todo tautauta. Ingagagawham sa por favor. Bota ya sa Guaho si Carl Gutierrez para gobyerno, san si Gary Gumatauto para teniente gobyerno.
Please vote for the team that will make a positive difference.
Please vote for the team that offers leadership for all.
Please vote Gutierrez Gumatauto.
I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Treasurer.
Attention GovGuam workers and their families. Carl Gutierrez is criticizing Governor Calvo for paying merit bonuses owed to GovGuam employees.
And it wasn't necessarily nobody was gunning for it, except one person asking for 3 years. Then we end up paying 19 years. I couldn't understand that.
This is so ironic since as a senator, Carl wrote the merit bonus law. Yet, as governor, he failed to pay it. This election, ask yourself, who do you trust to follow the law and keep their promises? Re-elect Calvo Tenorio. People for the right direction. Emily M. Pinko, Treasurer.
Guam United, Guam United accomplishes more. Buenas, ladies and gentlemen. This is Judy Gutierrez. I'm number 6 on the ballot. I really need your help this election. I believe in giving Guam good government, and I also believe in working with all of Guam's leaders, because Guam United accomplishes more. Please go out and vote on November 4. And remember Judy Gutierrez, number 6.
Half a day. This is Jerry Gutierrez. One of the greatest blessings in my life is having had the opportunity to reach out to you through people helping people. I remain committed to once again being there for you in your time of need. To all of Guam's families, I humbly ask for your vote for Gutierrez Gumatauto for Governor and Lieutenant Governor. Fanokis and Fanmakwenta. Si Zeus Maasi, and maraming salamat po.
Buenas, Guaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Imasdang ko na bendisyon para Guaho y oportunidad para beho ajuda hamzu ki oran ni necesidad nizo. Put minalango pat put hafa na ilan Zeus, ginili people helping people. Magufso para beho continua este na programa para todo itaw Guam. Ojalá mohon sa infan maguf bumota si Carl Gutierrez, dyan si Gary Gumatauta. Say na maasi.
Half a day, I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Life has a way of testing us, and Christmas has a way of making things better.
3 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I wasn't sure if I was going to be here.
Well, it's our third deployment, but this one was especially hard because it's Afghanistan.
I'm not so focused on the gifts because for me, every day is a gift. My faith has been everything.
Before he left, we had these bracelets made, and on the inside, there's an inscription of Joshua 1:9. This is the first time that he'll be home around Christmas time. Having him, safely in our arms is the best present of all.
But I'm still here, and I'm stronger, and I'm better. Every Christmas gets better.
Yeah. One of the merriest Christmases that we've ever had.
Let's walk together in our struggle, hold each other up with love and peace. Merry Christmas, my dear people of Guam.
Half a day. I'm Adonis Mendiola. With my military as well as public and private sector experience, I've seen how good job training can lead to better paying jobs and opportunities, which can improve the quality of life for our working families. We need to make sure that everyone has a chance to enjoy the benefits of Guam's bright future. As your senator, I will use my experience to develop more and better training programs. On Election Day, I ask for just one of your votes to continue working hard to make Guam better for all of us.
In his first term, Senator Brant McCready delivered on his promise to protect our island's most defenseless members. His laws increase punishment for repeat offenders who prey on our children, manumko, the disabled, and victims of domestic violence. Because of Senator McCready, the tables have turned on murderers, rapists, pedophiles, and other career criminals who've become the target of his strong legislation. Re-elect Senator Brant McCready, number 4 on the Republican ballot, protecting your families and our future.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary and I are going to have the people of Guam as our only business. We're going to take care of you. We're going to have Jerry Gutierrez get people helping people back to catch you on the safety net. This island cannot continue to run by the elite. We are accessible. You can see us anytime. We'll come out and look for you. We're going to help you. Mananadan menilun hasu haji man pareo dan hamzu hamian Gary hasu ne otsut onus tati haji majuda hamzu ngingwat senun mizu gi typhoon gi earthquake hamian Jerry humujong pintetun sigat sumo na. Mga kababayan, ako po si Calvo Gutierrez. Nananawagan na muli sa inyong lahat. Ako po ay nagnanais na kayo ay muling paglingkuran upang sa ganoon po ay maibalik natin muli ang kaayusan at pagtitiwala ng taong bayan. Mga kababayan, malapit ang halalan. Huwag kalimutan ng kaibigan, Democrat ang kanyang pangalan. Si Diyos Masi. Half a day, I am Carl Gutierrez and I approve this ad.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for the 2014 Gubernatorial Great Debate, live at the University of Guam Fieldhouse. Before we begin our first round of questions, I'd like to recognize the following dignitaries who have joined us. Senator Chris Duenas, former Senator Hope Cristobal, Speaker Judy Wonpat, Vice Speaker BJ Cruz, and former Senator Roy Duenas. We will now have our first track of questions for the candidates for governor. I ask our governor candidates to please approach the podium. There will be a question for each candidate and a 2-minute answer. 2-minute rebuttals for each question will be allowed to the other candidate. Our first question will be posed to Governor candidate Calvo. Question number 1 will be asked by Danny Gonzalez. Question panelists, you may begin.
Test. Half a day, Governor Calvo.
Assuming you believe there are connections between education and the health of our economy, how exactly will standards, testing, and school choice be able to reverse the dropout data as well as grow the economy?
Good question. Again, we just had our most recent State of the Education speech, and it's very clear and evident that that dropout rates are reducing, and they've been reducing on an annual basis over the past 3 years. This is tied into the economy, and it's ensuring that there is educated folks graduating from high school. First of all, you need a strong economy. And what we've done is through a stable government, starting with finances, we've got an A rating. My opponent had a junk bond rating. We've been able to stabilize government, but then at the same time, work with education. He also didn't believe that you needed a diploma. I've worked with the Board of Education and Department of Education. We've worked towards improving schools in terms of the facilities. We've renovated Antalan Middle School, have a new Tijan High School. We've done expansions in Ukadu. We're going to do about $100 million in renovations to all the schools, starting with Simon Sanchez and GW. We've worked proactively, cooperating, working with the Department of Education, moving forward in the Common Core standards, and also in regards to accountability of our teachers in terms of effectiveness in the results of grades of our students. We're expanding on pre-K. Education and economy are tied together. And we believe as we work towards growing this economy, working with the Department of Education, working as partners rather than taking it over and mandating this and dictating that and saying you don't need a high school diploma. The Calvo Tenorio administration has been working very well with the Department of Education, and you're not going to have someone there becoming a board and a director of education from the office in Adelup. Very distinct difference between me and my opponent.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Calvo. Governor Candidate Gutierrez, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
I think some of those items he's thrown out at me requires a response. As governor, I think you should be telling the people of Guam the truth. You said I had junk bond status. In 1997, the worst year for Guam with the disasters, airline crashes, the downturn of the economy here in Guam, I had a AAA rating. You haven't had that yet. You haven't had one AAA rating. And then you tell the people of Guam that I said you don't need a diploma? You and your colleagues did a disservice to our people of Guam. You have marginalized millions or thousands of our people that did not get a degree, but you told them if you don't have a degree, a high school diploma, you can't work for the government of Guam. That's discrimination, and that's what I fought against. I didn't say don't go get your diploma. You see, Governor, tell the truth. Stop the double speak. Stop it. Stop it, Governor. The way I see how we can get this education redone, let me say this, that the Department of Education is an archaic system of management. It came from the Navy times, and we carried it through. We have 32,000 students run by the best guy that's running it now is John Fernandez. But I believe that we must narrow it down so that as you narrow it down into 5 or 6 districts, you can monitor the dropout rates, as more effectively than this big conglomerate right now. We have to go back and start systemically to change the Department of Education, the way it is being managed, and get the education out to our children. That is the key. You cannot. And you have to include the chief executive of the territory of Guam or any state is always involved, the chief executive. You never take him out on the delivery of education to the people.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Our second question will be posed to Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Question number 2 will be asked by Danny Gonzalez. Question panelists, you may begin.
Homelessness on Guam is a growing concern. How would your administration deal with this growing issue?
You reverberated. I didn't understand the first.
I'll repeat.
Don't get it too close.
Homelessness on Guam. Homelessness on Guam
Homelessness.
is a growing concern. How would your administration deal with this growing issue?
I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that the homelessness is caused by hopelessness. That's what's happening for the last 4 years. People have just lost hope. Nowhere to go look for a job. Nowhere. And they go out there and trying to figure out what's going to catch them in the safety net. Nothing. There's no other plan other than the government. When I was governor of Guam, I knew that there are certain things the government cannot spend on people, like getting them off the streets for a long period of time. But the First Lady and I knew that we have to provide a safety net. First, we did people helping people where she raised $3.5 million. And we went and got some of those homeless people and we put them in, not for 1 month like you do, and then you kick them out after 1 month. We take them in. We keep them there for a year. We give them hope. We give them some kind of job. We give them some kind of dignity. And once you do that, once they see that there's a program being provided by this government and this leadership, then they maybe would have hope. Hope to maybe get off the streets. Right now, they don't. I'm sorry. They just don't have this hope. And so, as I said earlier, you get 2 for 1. Jerry Gutierrez will implement people helping people. We're going to go out and find all this hopelessness, get them off the streets, get them off the streets immediately. And like I said, not for 30-day period, and then you kick them out. You did that to one family up in Saganlinajan, and they had 7 children. And Martin Benavente said, no, I cannot keep you there longer than 30 days. Out you go. That's no heart. This government right now has no heart, no compassion at all. That's not the Chamorro way. That is not the Filipino way. That is not the Islander way. We help one another. Grab them and take them in and figure out, but you don't go out to see them. You send your people out to see them. I go out, Jerry goes out, and we touch the people's lives.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Governor Candidate Calvo, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
I guess it's been 20 years, so his memory is fading him. You know, when I first got into office, we had 1,700 homeless, too many. But we've been making tremendous efforts, and it's gone down to 1,300, still too many. It's interesting, in my opponent's time in office, first year there were no statistics, 0 homeless. After his first term, and this was a Gura number, 500 homeless. By the time he left office after 8 years, 1,264 homeless people. Yeah, right direction. What our administration has been doing, our administration, first of all, we've worked on building, we have 5 new homeless shelters, focusing on those homeless families, those with children. We're working on an affordable housing program. We built 1,700 homes, focusing on low income for those, so those would be able to afford it. Unlike LADA, what was that? Gilbaza, which my opponent built, and he pardoned the developer from the criminal act. That's not the way to do affordable housing. We're gonna focus on building transitional homes, but it's also focusing on what it is about homelessness. We're focusing on areas, some of them have drug issues and drug abuse issues, worked with Oasis and other programs to get them out of drugs. A lot of it is education. We've had over 1,000 folks get into our adult education programs, whether it's the HUSTA program, the adult education program. We did a great job with the Keep Your Guard Up program with the National Guard. These are programs where we can get folks that didn't, for whatever reason, get an education and are having a tough time finding a job, getting that education. And in the second term, we're going to work in Project Imagine. So we focus not only on education, job education for adults, but getting them to a meaningful job and a career in the future. That's it, with a plan that focuses so hard on long-term results.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Calvo. Our third question will be posed to Governor Candidate Calvo. Question number 3 will be asked by Tasha Wade. Question panelist, you may begin.
As governor, how would you propose to have a better working relationship with the Guam legislature?
Well, I think it's been doing pretty well now. I think I've had one override in 4 years. I think my opponent had overrides. He has the record of overrides when it comes to legislatures, and whether it was a Democratic majority or a Republican majority. You know what it's all about? It's all about working in good faith. If you've noticed how I've worked in the past 4 years, we've had disagreements, but it never becomes personal. It never becomes a war. I got to congratulate the legislature when I pushed hard for the tax refund bond bill that paid off all the tax refunds. The Republicans were the ones that stuck with me, but after a lot of convincing, our Democratic colleagues followed along, and we paid off this debt that actually started with my opponent. As a matter of fact, and that's how you work with the legislature. As a matter of fact, it was in his administration where they worked also the LATA program, and that's where that first bond, by the way, to my opponent, Governor, I finally paid off that bond that was owed to the Federal Homeowners Bank that was allocated and that was loaned in your administration. Another thing that we work with the legislature to pay off the debts and the sins of my opponent.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor Candidate Calvo. Governor Candidate Gutierrez, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. You heard what he just said earlier, and I'm glad that he just told another fib. And you people out in the audience, out in the community, you heard him say that while I was governor of Guam, we had the highest of homelessness at 500 and some. How come we only see the people here when you only have like 20 some? But you never see 500 homeless under my administration. You take these numbers and you throw it out and think that like you said, you just paid my debt. Come on, Governor. Ladies and gentlemen, for me to move forward working well with the legislature, my biggest problem when I was governor was not working with the legislature. What I've found out that in order for me to get forth in forging a good relationship is that we as Democrats came together and we put together a platform where all of us agree from the beginning what we're going to do for the people of Guam. I am not going to push anybody's button. I'm not going to push anybody's button to not override. The platform speaks for itself. When we say we're going to help the homeless, it's there. They're committed to it. You have no platform that includes the legislature, so I don't know how you're going to work with them. But I will, understanding it, ladies and gentlemen, that the legislature needs to weigh in on all these programs that we have when we come in to extricate ourselves from the bad policies that you have done for the last 4 years. We have absolutely no room for us to borrow any more money. And I'm praying, and Jerry's praying that we don't have any disasters, because there's just no way that you can leverage any funds to help the people when they're homeless and they're hungry and out in the streets. That's the problem we face right now. My biggest problem is that the legislature, under a Democratic control, will give us what we need.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Our fourth question will be posed by Dondi Quintans to Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Question number 4. Maybe you may proceed, question panelists, with question number 4.
Governor Gutierrez, with the new private hospital about to open its doors, how would you ensure that the Guam Memorial Hospital continues to meet its mission, as well as address global public health care issues like the Ebola outbreak?
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, as governor of Guam, you should have been in there in the forefront when the new hospital was being built. When you build a new hospital like that, you know that most of the people are going to be left at the Guam Memorial Hospital that have no ability to pay, as they do in the new hospital. The governor of Guam should have made it a point to step in between them and bring them together. Not a staff to staff kind of an agreement. Bring the owners of the hospital. If you're considering giving them a QC, you better make sure darn well that they take their share of indigent house patients and make that agreement ahead of time. Your responsibility to the community, Governor, is very, very important that you just don't award all your businessmen friends with easy outs. Bring them together and make them pay. Make them pay. Make them pay their fair share, and that we need to be able to make sure also that we alleviate the burden on the Guam Memorial Hospital with all these house patients, the non-pay. I proposed, and I did this when I was governor, when I worked with Secretary Tommy Thompson with the Health and Human Services. We were ready to ink 12 doctors, 12 nurses from the Public Health Service, and $10 million a year that will come out to beef up the Northern Center and the Southern Center and the Central Public Health Centers to bring in the primary care of these people. That would alleviate it from the beginning. Right now, there's nothing moving from you, or I have nothing from your Washington person about any of these major issues that require the governor and require a lot of talking to the powers that be. You just sit here and start throwing out money for refunds and merit bonus.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Governor Candidate Calvo, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
You just heard it. He's not going to pay tax refunds or merit bonuses. Hey, by the way, there is an issue that I have in regards to natural disasters, and especially issues such as Ebola and other pandemics. I do want to make note that just last year we finally paid off FEMA, and also I want to congratulate the Camacho administration, because we had to pay tens of millions of dollars back. In fact, we just paid it off last year. All the money, the millions that disappeared as a result of my opponent's mismanagement of federal FEMA funds. So he's talking about us borrowing to the hilt. He used the money somewhere. Let's focus on disasters. Even with a new hospital, we still have per capita beds less than the national average. So it's good to have a new hospital there. But now with that new hospital, it's important that we still focus on our Guam Memorial Hospital. We made a lot of investments in the emergency room and the ICU. There's a new, and I want to thank the legislature working with them as well, with the maternity ward and the labor delivery room. We're focusing now on using the community health centers, extending their hours to alleviate the pressures in the emergency room. As a matter of fact, the hospital also will be working on a triage and an urgent care facility to also alleviate those pressures in the emergency room, which are very expensive. I've told my staff that I'm going to be working with the legislature in putting a 50% increase in the pharmaceuticals fund. By the way, the pharmaceuticals fund was started when I was a senator to ensure that we don't run out of blood or medicines, which happened a lot during my opponent's administration. And I'm going to ensure that hospital keeps being accredited. I want to thank Governor Camacho. We've continued on. My opponent said it could never happen, but by gum, it happened. And by the way, we have less employees, but more doctors. I don't know who he was hiring at the hospital back then. So ladies and gentlemen, it's about a commitment to this hospital. And you have this commitment. Oh, by the way, we have Medicare reimbursements that's going to go up by $700.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Calvo.
So much is happening. I can't keep up with it.
Our fifth question will be posed to Governor Candidate Calvo. Question number 5 will be asked by Anthony Kinga. Question panelist, you may begin.
There have been many discussions regarding Guam's political status. What is your preference and why?
I would like full incorporation, statehood. And I do believe that we are going to move forward in this process. I talked to Esther Caina. Unfortunately, I worked with Assistant Secretary Babauta. He had made a commitment to match us $100,000, and that $100,000 I put up for education. For whatever reasons, he was not able to provide that support. But I look forward to working with the Obama administration, getting the support for education so that we can allow for the Commission on Decolonization to do its work on education. $100,000 from the local government, $100,000 from the federal government. And I must tell you, we have been working with the Commission on Decolonization. I want to make a one heck of a contrast. My opponent actually vetoed the bill that created the Commission on Decolonization. Thank goodness for that legislature back then, because they overrode his veto. talk about cooperation for the greater good and the political destiny of our people. But we must continue to strive on. And that means working with all our stakeholders in this community. It means working with our delegate and working with the federal government so that finally Guam can reach its full status, its full political maturity. And by the way, whatever the status is, whether it's statehood, whether it's independence, or whether it's free association, anything is better than an unincorporated territory.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Calvo. Governor Candidate Gutierrez, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
Thank you. Living in the real world, when somebody chooses that they want to be a state, that's fine. That'd be a great relationship that we'll have with the United States. But it requires 38 states to approve that. Got to go through Congress and the United States and in the White House. But right now, as we see it, we have to make a determination by the people of Guam just how we want to move forward. Personally, I believe that if we are able to get it, which I have already gotten a lot of legal briefs, that we can have free association holding on to our United States passport. That's the first start. That's a good start. And then you can transition into statehood if that's what the people want in the future. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot just say, I want statehood, and it's not our call. It is not our call. I think that, thank you, Senator Ben Pangilinan, for moving this process forward. And in your spirit, we're going to move this thing under our administration, because I haven't heard of one meeting of the Commission on Decolonization since you've gone in there, unless it's just you and him. You have put the Commission on Self-Determination not in the back burner, but off the stove at all the way. And so I'm going to bring it back. I came very, very close to getting our Commonwealth status when I was governor, because I paid attention to it. I acted as a governor. I led the island into the best times that we could ever feel. I don't have 4 lawyers in my office at Adelup. I don't have a public relations firm. I don't have 6 law firms outside advising you. This is not a governor. You're supposed to lead. You're supposed to lead. Lead the people. Give hope to the people. Plan for their future. You seem to be planning only for what's good up to November 4th.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Our 6th question will be posed to Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Question number 6 will be asked by Danny Gonzalez. Question panelists, you may begin.
Governor Gutierrez, the University of Guam's tuition is expected to increase in the near future. What would your administration do to provide affordable higher education?
You know, we at the University of Guam seem to be at the whims of the legislature or the governor of Guam to find the money. There's never really a dependence on some source of funds that are there to be able to be put in a lockbox, so that as tuition rates have to go up, we don't tap the students. We take it out of that lockbox. So let's try and identify something out in the marketplace. I'm not saying that we're going to raise gross receipts tax, but there might be some items that we can say this 1% is going to go straight in to the University of Guam lockbox to help the students, so that their rates are not going to go up, and that all our people can afford to go to the higher education at the university. But you've got to be innovative. You cannot just say, okay, I'm just going to give you the money. That's not thinking. That's not planning. Find a solution that will last a long time and sustainable. I will do that. I will bring the educators in. I will bring the businessmen in. And I'm going to bring the community in and say, what is it that we can do to make sure that we have funds all the time in that lockbox? Nobody can touch it. And so that when the rates have to go up, that's where you get it from. You don't get it out of the pockets of the students.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Governor Candidate Calvo, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
Boy, memories sure fade in 20 years. if I can recall, in my opponent's administration, because of executive interference, the University of Guam almost lost its accreditation, was put on probation. So one thing is you do is you don't try to interfere. Bob, I get along with you very well. We worked with the administration, with the Board of Trustees, because I know as a governor, I'm there to support you, not there to order you around, unlike my opponent did in his administration. But how do we do it? There hasn't been a tuition increase since I've been governor, because I've been working with the administration of the university, working with our legislature. I want to thank, again, working with the legislature. So when there was a potential for increasing tuitions, we put our money where our mouth was, and with that appropriation I signed into law, we've had no increases in tuition. So we're backing it up. We're backing up what we say with what we do, my opponent. Also, there's a lot of good things happening here. Our administration, our fiscal team work very well with their fiscal team. We work with our federal partners. By the way, the feds like to work with us in these good investments. They're not taking the money away from us because of sanctions or mismanagement or convictions. So we're working, we use the U.S. Department of Agriculture. There's a beautiful new student services building coming up and a School of Engineering. We're looking at a doctoral program, and we're going to tie in our Project Imagine Guam. So with K through 12, actually pre-K through 12, and tying in with GCC and UOG, and tying in with the private sector, a team working with everybody, coming with a long-term vision of Guam, so that once those students get through the K through 12, get through UOG and GCC, there'll be a job waiting for them out there, or there'll be a new. They can start their own business. That's what it's all about working with UOG.
Thank you, Governor candidate Calvo. Thank you, Governor candidates, for your thoughtful responses to the questions of round one. Ladies and gentlemen, after a short commercial break, we will return and start round two of our panel questions for the candidates.
Being a public servant, again, as a senator, but now as a governor, with the responsibilities that I have, but also the opportunities to meet so many people. There's a rich tapestry of almost every ethnicity, every demographic, lifestyle that makes Guam home. And there's a harmony of beautiful people that have gone through so much, whether it was a war, earthquakes, typhoons, or even governments weren't really providing the services they should. I just see such a beautiful people, and that energizes me. I remember the situation where we were giving out the tax refunds after many years, where people actually cried. Finally, their heads are above water, or that was utilized to get the medical treatment or to pay a mortgage. So you see the smiles when a government finally starts working. That's the joy, and why it is so rewarding, this job as a governor and serving the greatest people in the world.
Buenas, this is Madeline Bordallo. I have dedicated a lifetime of service to our people as a delegate, lieutenant governor, senator, and first lady. I am proud to join the other first ladies in support of the Gutierrez Umatao team.
Hafade Mabuhay, this is Joanne Camacho. We need leaders that truly have us in their hearts. This election is not about party, but voting for the team that will help all the people of Guam. Carl and my cousin Gary are committed to doing just that.
Our lives have always been about helping people. Guaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Gof importante esta elección para iminaulig todo tautauta. Ingagagawham sa por favor. Bota ya sa Guaho si Carl Gutierrez para gobierno, san si Gary Gumatauto para teniente gobierno.
Please vote for the team that will make a positive difference.
Please vote for the team that offers leadership for all.
Please vote Gutierrez Gumatauto.
I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
My whole life, I have been a farmer. Every morning, I work in my small farm in my backyard, where I grow herbs to sell at local restaurants and stores. As modest as it is, my farm has been where I have made some of the most important discoveries of my life, where I have seen how the smallest things connect to the biggest things. Were there an emergency at the port and shipping containers suddenly stopped being unloaded, we would run out of food in less than 2 weeks. But we can change. We have the capacity to produce so much more of our food locally than we do now. Improving our agriculture capacity will prevent potential food supply crises and increase the health of our families and community while creating jobs and strengthening our economy. As your senator, I will work to strengthen a sustainable local food supply and to ensure that all of our people have access to fresh, local, and affordable food.
Affordable housing had been lacking on Guam for decades, with many island residents placed on a waiting list that was growing faster than the amount of homes being built. Enter the Calvo Tenorio administration.
We went around to look at people that were homeless, people that were living in canopies, people that were living in lean-tos and things like that.
That's one of the things that I think Calvo Tenorio brings to the table also. This emphasis on their anti-poverty programs. That's one of the things that we at GURA are now addressing. Improve the quality of life for our families in our Section 8 and public housing programs, and also to get them to be self-sufficient in terms of being able to rent on their own in the housing market, or even to own their own homes.
That's the Calvo Tenorio difference. Re-elect Calvo Tenorio, the right direction. People for the right direction. Emily Umpinko, Treasurer.
I am Mayor Melissa Savaras of Dedido. The health and safety of people in my village has always been important to me. Since coming into office, Senator Brant McCready has always put the protection of all our families at the forefront. Senator McCready's laws protect our most vulnerable victims and Guam's families while being tough on violent career criminals. Join me in re-electing Brant McCready for Senator. Re-elect Senator Brant McCready, number 9 Republican.
Half a day. This is Jerry Gutierrez. It's people like you that make Guam a special place. Ask yourselves, which team running for your governor, lieutenant governor, can you truly relate to? Carl and Gary understand your hardships. They have lived through many of the same struggles. Carl and Gary are just like you. Please vote Gutierrez Kamatauta. Si Zeus Maasi, and maraming salamat po. Buenas, kwaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Itaw-tauta muna gof espesyalisti tangota. Paisin mai sa Hanzo, hadzi ni malalago para gobyerno zan tinenti gobyerno mas pareho zan Hanzo. Si Carl zan si Gary, mag-gof komprendi pinadesi sa megi na sinat sa gama falafang wilokwi. Man pareho Hanzo zan si Carl zan si Gary. Panoki zan fan makwenta, por favor, panhuzong zan bota si Gutierrez kumatauto. Say na maasi.
Half a day, I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Half a day, I'm Adonis Mendiola. Preparing our young adults for employment is an important part of my job as Director of Department of Youth Affairs. That's why I teamed up with Guam Community College and the Department of Education to establish Career Technical Education. This training program allows young adults to get job ready while at DYA. As your senator, I will use my experience to develop more and better training programs. On Election Day, I ask for just one of your votes to continue working hard to make Guam better for all of us.
GovGuam's deficit was the highest in history. Tax refunds had not been paid on time in 2 decades. Enter the Calvo Tenorio administration.
We're up to date. Never in 20 years that we owe refunds. We're paying it in a matter of months right now. We paid roughly about $138 million in refunds.
Transparency, accountability, and putting the people first. That's the Calvo Tenorio difference. Calvo Tenorio, the right direction. People for the right direction. Emily Umpinko, Treasurer.
Half a day, I'm Dina McCready. To my husband, Senator Brant McCready, and I, there is nothing more precious than family. That's why Brant introduced legislation that protects Guam's families. He wants to keep drug dealers, pedophiles, and other career criminals out of our neighborhoods and away from our children. Please re-elect my husband, Senator Brant McCready.
Number 9 Republican.
Sizulas Maasi.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary and I are going to have the people of Guam as our only business. We're going to take care of you. We're going to have Jerry Gutierrez get people helping people back to catch you on the safety net. This island cannot continue to run by the elite. We are accessible. You can see us anytime. We'll come out and look for you. We're going to help you. Mananadan menilun hasu haji man pareo dan hamzu hamian Gary hasu ne otsut onus tati haji majuda hamzu ngingwat senun mizu typhoon, earthquake, hangyan sir, humujong. Tintetun, sigat sumuogoy na. Mga kababayan, ako po si Calvo Gutierrez. Nananawagan na muli sa inyong lahat. Ako po ay nagnanais na kayo ay muling paglingkuran upang sa ganoon po ay maibalik natin muli ang kaayusan at pagtitiwala ng taong bayan. Mga kababayan, malapit ang halalan. Huwag kalimutan ng kaibigan, Democrat ang kanyang pangalan. Si Diyos Masi.
Half a day, I am Calvo Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Treasury.
Buenas, this is Madeline Bordallo. I have dedicated a lifetime of service to our people as a delegate, lieutenant governor, senator, and first lady. I am proud to join the other first ladies in support of the Gutierrez Umatao team.
Hafade Mabuhay. This is Joanne Camacho. We need leaders that truly have us in their hearts. This election is not about party, but voting for the team that will help all the people of Guam. Carl and my cousin Gary are committed to doing just that.
Our lives have always been about helping people. Guaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Gof importante esta elección para iminaulik todo y tautauta. Ingagagawham sa por favor. Bota ya sa Guaho si Carl Gutierrez para gobierno, san si Gary Gumatauto para teniente gobierno.
Please vote for the team that will make a positive difference.
Please vote for the team that offers leadership for all.
Please vote Gutierrez Gumatauto.
I am Calvo Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Welcome back to the 2014 Gubernatorial Great Debate, streaming live from the University of Guam Fieldhouse. We will now have our second track of questions for the candidates for Lieutenant Governor of Guam. There will be a question for each candidate and a 2-minute answer. 2-minute rebuttals will be allowed to the other candidate. Lieutenant Governor candidates, please approach the podium. The first question will be posed to Lieutenant Governor candidate Tenorio. Question 1 will be asked by Tasha Wade. Question panelist, you may begin.
As we all know, tourism is Guam's economic engine. How would you ensure that the Guam brand is marketed effectively?
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, how you market Guam effectively is through her people. Our island has a beautiful culture and a beautiful custom marriage from all different types of customs. And ladies and gentlemen, I just ask you, you got to think about the people that go out to market our island. There's a young lady by the name of Pilar Laguana, Guam Visitor Bureau, who's been at the Japan Association of Travel Agents conferences many times. And she goes out there and she understands all the different dimensions of marketing and what our island is about. But you know who else they took down there? The Phoenix Stage Band and Mike Phillips' great concoction, which is down from the Mount Carmel School. And the guys like Fred Bordallo Jr. played the drums along with a whole bunch of performers. And they showed what the culture is from the island. They showed what the passion is from our people. Just like Frank Corned Beef Lazama, who talks about making sure that blacksmithing is carried from one generation to another. Talk about ladies like Anne-Marie Arceo from Hurrah Academy, who's been able to use immersion and carry the core of what's good about our island and in our families and be able to pass that from one generation to another. How you market Guam effectively is doing a lot of different things, including beautifying our island. And my wife, Attorney Naoko Shims, has done a fantastic job in things like putting the Guam Seal bus stop together, be able to move our market and make sure that our island looks as good, not just in the green, but in the beauty of our people, the beauty of our culture. Guam Visitor Bureau working with so many professionals, Island-wide Beautification Task Force, making sure our island looks good. And when the people come here, as they are in record numbers, not just from Korea, not just from Taiwan, not just from Japan, but also from Russia, and adding more business to our community, more jobs to our community, because what we brand is what you get. And with the Calvo Tenorio administration, you'll get more of that and more. So Joe Smasi, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Candidate Tenorio. Lieutenant Governor Candidate Gumatautau, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
Could you read the question again? Because I don't believe that what he answered went to the question. Maybe I misunderstood the question.
As we all know,
Well, if you be quiet long enough, I can hear the question.
Have the crowd.
as we all know, tourism is Guam's economic engine. How would you ensure that the Guam brand is marketed effectively?
I sat on the board for RNC Tours for over 10 years. It's a tour company owned by the Japanese. So I'm familiar with what Guam needs, but I also started the hospitality program at GCC in 1981. So I did a lot of training for people that wanted to go in the hospitality industry. What Guam needs is to make sure it protects its brand, and the brand is well known. More than just putting up a wall in East Agana made out of tile fluffy, we're talking about getting out there and letting the world know what Guam is. The last time we got together, I talked about how that we would take the book Real Faces, the book that was put together by Senator Frank Bloss Jr., and take it to Congress. Okay, this is something we need to market. This is part of our identity, part of trying to explain to people what Guam is, where Guam is, and what Guam is about. We need to make sure we're a first-class tourist destination. We have to make sure all of our bathrooms, all of our public areas, our beaches are safe, secure, and clean. They need to be first class. If you want to attract people to Guam, you have to make sure that you've got first-class facilities where people feel like they're protected. You have to make sure you've got plenty of police on the street. We don't have that, but I'm going to talk about that again in a few minutes, okay? Because under this administration, you've already had 3.5 years. I can't think of one thing you've done to enhance Guam's brand, except take a bunch of trips off island with your family and friends and maybe build a wall in East Agana. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Candidate Gumatautau. Our second question will be posed to Lieutenant Governor Candidate Gumatautau. Question number 2 will be asked by Dondi Quintans. Question panelist, you may begin.
Attorney Gumatautau, one of the University of Guam's Centers of Excellence is the UOG Marine Lab. It has been reported that erosion and wildfires destroy our reefs. What would your administration do to preserve our reefs and our environment?
Well, one of the first things we do is we make sure we use the federal funds that are made available to us. This administration let millions of dollars due from us from NOAA go back to the feds. They didn't use it. So we're going to utilize the federal money the way it's supposed to be to protect our island and protect our reefs and to make sure that we do growth on the island, because every time there's a fire, there's erosion, and that erosion then starts causing problems with the island's water and, of course, the reefs. It kills the life on the reef. So we have to protect what's going on the land itself. We have to make sure that when we get involved in farming, especially if we get involved in agribusiness, that we're making sure that we use natural pesticides, that we don't use things that are going to contaminate the water and end up in the watershed and eventually down into the ocean. We've got to do everything possible to make sure we protect that. So that's what we need to do, is make sure we practice conservation and teach it so that everybody here understands the importance of our reefs, our water, and how it's connected to the people of the land. Tautotano.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Candidate Gumatautau. Lieutenant Governor Candidate Tenorio, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
Thank you. It's a lady in my office, Geraldine Datwin. She used to be, before she worked for me, she used to plant about 100 trees a day down at Seti Bay. And there are thousands upon thousands of trees that are planted down there, along with the rest of the island. Not only because of her, the Department of Agriculture, and the people who care in Arbor Day, you go out, plant a tree, but also about a lot of people who go out there to make anything happen good for our island. The more we have those trees and flowers and bushes that are planted on our island, the less erosion you have, because the soil doesn't get into the water, go into the streams and down to the river, and of course, onto the reefs. Preserving our reefs and our water and our land, we have one ecosystem. Working together makes it right. If we put more trees and more plants. And again, I have to give props to the Island Beautification Task Force, who plants a lot of different stuff in a lot of different parks. And when we plant these things, we plant a tree, we stop erosion. That's the core of the question. And you know, it talks about the environment, it talks about our future and sustainability and the fish and the reef. They're all connected. And the more we do these things, the more environmental things we do, the better. You know, speaking of environment, we have 45 million megawatts, 45 megawatts of renewable energy with solar arrays as well as wind turbines, which are going to be erected in the few years just ahead of us because of the Guam Power Authority and guys like Ken Flores who saw the future. The environment is not inextricably connected or disconnected. It's all one. And when we look at the environment and the energy costs and the environmental things that we're doing in our island, it makes a difference, not just for our homes around us. We've got a lot of people that are suffering from erosion, and we try to shore those things up with the Army Corps of Engineers. And I have to say, I'm proud of our governor, who's the only governor as a Republican and a territorial governor who's been asked by the president to serve on the Task Force for Climate Change, and he's done a great job with Sheena Black, and we're gonna continue to do the things like asking the Army Corps of Engineers to help our island address these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor candidate Tenorio. The third question will be posed to Lieutenant Governor candidate Tenorio. Question number 3 will be asked by Anthony Kenga. Question panelist, you may begin.
Local media has reported that public safety personnel numbers are down from the authorized strength. What would be the appropriate number of public safety personnel, and what would be your plan to achieve that?
I don't think there's a silver bullet on the total number, what exactly you need. How many is the optimum? The more the merrier. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, with the Calvo administration, we do have more. We have more police officers on the road now. We have more patrol cars on the road. We have more ambulances in the fire stations. We have more engines in the fire stations. We have more corrections officers, customs officers, fire recruits that have come in we haven't seen for years. And you know, my opponent talked about the absence of police officers. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, you know what makes for good police officers? Like the Criminal Justice Strike Force and the officers on patrol? The morale. We've paid that compensation to them, the public safety increments, and the back due. We're gonna pay the public safety overtime as well. You know, in the Guam Medical Association debate, you know, my opponent here, Gary, turned to me and says, you know what? I work the law. You just work the streets. Think about that for a minute. You just work the streets. Well, these officers that you see in uniform, they work the streets every single day. They go out there when it's time for a storm. They go when it's time for a Christmas holiday or New Year's Eve or in a liberation. I just worked the streets along with them for 15 years, and I'm proud of that. So if you want to insult the fire department and the police officers, the guys who just work the street, you better think again, Gary, because you know it comes down to Department of Corrections and Police Department, Fire, Customs, all working together. Yeah, I just work the streets, and I got that badge of honor for 15 years. And these men and women, they do the same thing. So I really want to get it down to the bare essence. We have more. And by summer of next year, we're going to have 42 police officers, 42 more cops on our streets, more everything. We are making strides, ladies and gentlemen. We have improved the financial condition. We're improving the stake for our people of Guam. And you know what? We're not going to insult you like Gary Gumatata did about donuts and coffee. You need that, and you know what? We'll help you provide it. Thank you.
Lieutenant Governor candidate Tenorio. Lieutenant Governor candidate Gumatata, you have 2 minutes for your rebuttal.
Well, I don't know where you live, Ray, but I live on Guam. Okay, and the federal government has already assessed our needs, said we need 464 uniformed officers, but you wouldn't know that because you're not reading the reports. You wouldn't know that because you were tasked at the beginning of your administration as being the champion for law enforcement. Let's talk about what you've done during your administration. You've done nothing, Ray. Okay, we're down to just over 300 officers if you believe the reports that come out of GPD. But when you talk to the officers, only about 120 of them on the street. How often you drive around, you don't see a policeman? It's because we don't have enough police officers. The first thing we're going to do when we come into office is hire 100 brand new police officers and buy cars, the complete fleet, and get equipment for these people because they don't have it. Because I live on Guam, and I know Guam has become very unsafe, in the last 3.5 years because you did not do your job. You also are credited, if you want to call it that, with what's going on at DOC. I got a name for you. Do you know this name? John Rosario? John Rosario died at DOC because the people at DOC refused to give him his nebulizer when his family said, when you pick him up, he needs his asthma medication. Okay, they're being sued right now by the family. You know who the family is? Lieutenant Governor Mike Cruz's family. That's his wife's family. But you wouldn't know that, would you? Do you care? Okay, what about the little guy that's over there now that's HIV positive? Okay, can he get medication? No. His lawyer's got to go to the press about it. What have you done about it? What did you do about it, Governor? You patted him on the back. Okay, I say fire somebody that doesn't follow the law. Okay, they're breaking the guy's rights. You need to follow the law. You're not doing it. So what have you done for law enforcement? You get an F, Ray, an F, okay? That means you fail. So I don't know where you live, and I don't know where you're getting the facts, but like everything else, you're not right. Boy, you're not right in the head. You need to get it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Candidate Gumatautau. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor candidates, for your thoughtful responses during this round. Ladies and gentlemen, after a short commercial break, we will return for the third track of questions for the candidates for governor.
Guam's roads were in disrepair, with too many tire-destroying potholes, impassable bridges, and roads causing gridlock going unfixed for years. Enter the Calvo Tenorio administration.
Within that first year, we finished off the tri-intersection. They've also given us funding to buy some road maintenance equipment and some asphalt. We've embarked on providing more streetlights to the villages. There will be additional school buses on the way. We've rehabilitated the Tocha and Talafofo bridges south of here. We're in the process of reconstructing what's called the Ekfajan Bridge near Bear Rock and Inarahan. We're just making the infrastructure down here in the south more reliable in the event of storms and earthquakes.
Paving the road to progress. That's the Calvo Tenorio difference. Calvo Tenorio, the right direction. People for the right direction. Emily Umpinko, Treasurer.
Guam United, Guam United accomplishes more. Buenas, ladies and gentlemen. This is Judy Gutierrez. I'm number 6 on the ballot. I really need your help this election. I believe in giving Guam good government, and I also believe in working with all of Guam's leaders, because Guam United accomplishes more. Please go out and vote on November 4. And remember Judy Gutierrez, number 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary and I are going to have the people of Guam as our only business. We're going to take care of you. We're going to have Jerry Gutierrez get people helping people back to catch you on the safety net. This island cannot continue to run by the elite. We are accessible. You can see us anytime. We'll come out and look for you. We're going to help you. Mananadan menyilu hasu haji man pareo dan hamju hamian Gary hasu ne ochut onus tati haji majuda hamju ngingwat senun mijo gi typhoon gi earthquake hamian Jerry humujong bintetun sigat sumo ginaw. Mga kababayan, ako po si Calvo Gutierrez. Nananawagan na muli sa inyong lahat. Ako po ay nagnanais na kayo ay muling paglingkuran upang sa ganoon po ay maibalik natin muli ang kaayusan at pagtitiwala ng taong bayan. Mga kababayan, malapit ang halalan. Huwag kalimutan ng kaibigan, Democrat ang kanyang pangalan. Si Diyos Masi.
Half a day, I am Calvo Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Half a day. I'm Adonis Mendiola. With my military as well as public and private sector experience, I've seen how good job training can lead to better paying jobs and opportunities, which can improve the quality of life for our working families. We need to make sure that everyone has a chance to enjoy the benefits of Guam's bright future. As your senator, I will use my experience to develop more and better training programs. On election day, I ask for just one of your votes to continue working hard to make Guam better for all of us.
You know, the state of public safety in Guam is actually better than it's been for many years. Clearly, the ambulance situation is resolved. We've got more ambulances now that are waiting to go out on the field because we've got enough ambulances on the street. We've got more cops that are hitting the villages, and the criminal justice strike force is making a substantial dent. Everyone is working in tandem along with the judiciary and DYA to make sure we rehabilitate those people and give them jobs so they don't have to resort to a life of crime. We've got more reserves officers. We've had more police officers being recruited and more customs officers and more firefighters. We're getting more corrections officers, more law enforcement by and large across the island has been recruited. But I think the citizens and our people in the community are aware of the fact that these sensational cases are not the core of what our island and our culture is about. It's the people responding to them and making sure that the justice is served.
Half a day, I'm Rudy Matanani, Mayor of Jigo. And I am Robert Lizama, former Mayor of Jigo. One thing we agree on is the leadership of Senator Brad McCready. Rudy and I are both family men. And one thing that we agree is the safety of our community. Brad McCready's laws protect our children and our grandchildren from career criminals. Senator Brad McCready is a great senator. Please join us in re-electing Senator Brad McCready for our community and our future.
Buenas, this is Madeline Bordallo. I have dedicated a lifetime of service to our people as a delegate, lieutenant governor, senator, and first lady. I am proud to join the other first ladies in support of the Gutierrez Umatao team.
Hafade Mabuhay. This is Joanne Camacho. We need leaders that truly have us in their hearts. This election is not about party, but voting for the team that will help all the people of Guam. Carl and my cousin Gary are committed to doing just that.
Our lives have always been about helping people. Guaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Gof importante esta elección para iminaulik todo tautauta. Ingagagawham sa por favor. Bota ya sa Guaho si Carl Gutierrez para gobierno, san si Gary Gumatauto para teniente gobierno.
Please vote for the team that will make a positive difference.
Please vote for the team that offers leadership for all.
Please vote Gutierrez Gumatauto.
I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Areola, Treasurer.
You know, being a public servant, again as a senator, but now as a governor, with the responsibilities that I have, but also the opportunities to meet so many people. There's a rich tapestry of almost every ethnicity, every demographic, lifestyle that makes Guam home. And there's a harmony of beautiful people that have gone through so much, whether it was war, earthquakes, typhoons, or even governments weren't really providing the services they should. I just see such a beautiful people, and that energizes me. I remember the situation where we were giving out the tax refunds after many years where people actually cried. Finally, their heads are above water, or that was utilized to get them medical treatment or to pay a mortgage. So you see the smiles when a government finally starts working. That's the joy and why it is so rewarding, this job as a governor and serving the greatest people in the world.
Hafade, I'm Senator Brent McCready. My family and I are blessed to call Guam home, and I will do everything in my power to protect Guam and our people. I continue to work with my colleagues across party lines to ensure the safety of our communities and our families. I am humbled for your confidence in making me one of your senators. Please give me another opportunity to serve you. Sizus Masi.
Half a day. This is Jerry Gutierrez. One of the greatest blessings in my life is having had the opportunity to reach out to you through people helping people. I remain committed to once again being there for you in your time of need. To all of Guam's families, I humbly ask for your vote for Gutierrez Gumatauto for Governor and Lieutenant Governor. Fanokis and Fanmakwenta. Si Zeus Maasi, and maraming salamat po.
Buenas, Guahu si Jerry Gutierrez. Imasdang ko na bendisyon para Guahu y oportunidad para bayo ajuda hamzuki orang ni necesidad nizo. Put minalango pat put hafa na ilan Zeus, ginili people helping people. Magufso para bayo continua este na programa para todo itong Guam. Ohalara mohon sa infan maguf bumota si Carl Gutierrez dan si Gary Gumatauta. Sana maasi.
Half a day, I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Bobota sa malago sa talo na continua dinansi na direksyon, i-direksyon Calvo Tenorio, especialmente para itang pauta, sa mas pwede sa magonda, para mamala na henerasyon. David ito na isya tsonsa, tinahol esta mahat sa hulo yaligi. Gihaligi David yung punata ni Tasa, iguahay binahanya. Sa ginin-esti tanay mas tansa tano 4 años. Por favor, bota si Calvo Tenorio, idinansi na direksyon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary and I are going to have the people of Guam as our only business. We're going to take care of you. We're going to have Jerry Gutierrez get people helping people back to catch you on the safety net. This island cannot continue to run by the elite. We are accessible. You can see us anytime. We'll come out and look for you. We're going to help you. Mananadan menyilu hasu haji man pareo dan hamzu hamian Gary hasu ne otsut onyus tati haji majuda hamzu ngingwat senun mizu gi typhoon gi earthquake hamian Jerry humujong bintetun sigat sumo now. Mga kababayan, ako po si Carl Gutierrez. Nananawagan na muli siya inyong lahat. Ako po ay nagnanais na kayo ay muling paglingkuran upang sa ganoon po ay maibalik natin muli ang kaayusan at pagtitiwala ng taong bayan. Mga kababayan, malapit ang halalan. Huwag kalimutan ng kaibigan, Democrat ang kanyang pangalan. Si Diyos Masi. Half a day, I am Carl Gutierrez and I approve this ad.
Welcome back to the 2014 gubernatorial great debate. We will now have our third and last round of questions for the candidate for governor. There will be a question for each candidate and a 1-minute answer. A 1-minute rebuttal will be allowed to the other candidate. Governor candidates, please approach your podium. Our first question will be posed to Governor candidate Gutierrez. Question number 1 will be asked by Danny Gonzalez. Question panelist, you may begin.
Governor Gutierrez, if the Guam legislature gave you the authority to provide a single agency with $1 million of funding, which agency would you give the money to and why?
Thank you. First thing I would do with $1 million that the legislature would give me is to walk up to the Guam Memorial Hospital and give it another infusion of capital. That is the only hospital right now that loses approximately $60 million a year because of the non-pay. We need to be able to ensure that those that cannot pay are covered with some funds. And it's not enough. The legislature has done a wonderful job of giving the amount of money that is required there. But when you give away 30% of your services for free, you cannot sustain yourself. I will take that $1 million and go out there, maybe buy medicine or whatever is necessary to save some lives.
Thank you, Governor candidate Gutierrez. Governor candidate Calvo, you have 1 minute for your rebuttal.
I've always believed that the true measure of the health of the society is how you treat those in the fringes. Those that are the weak, those are the unborn, those that are disabled, those that have no voice. And it's hard to say $1 million where would it go. I would look towards all those programs. Maybe it's public health, remember, maybe it's mental health, but it deals with issues, whether it's the foster children, whether it's helping young mothers make a decision about continuing the term of their baby and their pregnancy, on education, whether it's giving monies through Medicaid and MIP to assist for those that are the most needy. It would be, again, I can't say one agency, but it would be focusing on those that are most needy, those that this society needs to lift up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Calvo. Our second question will be posed to Governor Candidate Calvo. Question number 2 will be asked by Anthony Kenga. Question panelist, you may begin.
Every year, a number of graduates attempt to enter the workforce. How will your administration ensure that employment opportunities are available for these graduates?
There's a lot already happening right now. We do have with the Department of Labor many of the jobs that are available out there in the market. We've been working with the University of Guam, with GCC. I'm the father of the Apprenticeship Program Act. So what we're looking at is how do we tie in education achievements, and whether it's a diploma in UOG or a certification in GCC to a job. We've done so much because unemployment is down to 7.4% when it was at 13.3 when we first came in. We're going to continue on this, and this is what Imagine Guam is all about. It will be this collaborative effort with the administration, with the private sector, with economists coming from the university, and tying that with the jobs that will be available the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and tying that to the educational demands and requirements that those positions and those opportunities avail themselves to.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Calvo. Governor Candidate Gutierrez, you have 1 minute for your rebuttal.
I think the first thing I would do is work with the Guam First Commission, call Madeline Bordallo, the delegate from Washington, and have the governor of Guam pull all the different factions together that are working towards the build-up or anti-build-up, and bring them together so that finally the one voice in Guam can go to Washington, to the State Department, to the Department of Defense and the Congress, and say, this is what we want as far as the build-up is concerned, and please figure out how you can bring back some kind of a base that deals with satellites and communications. I will go down to Tata, where I brought in, it's called Tyco before. They're only using 10% of their database right now. We want to be able to market that so that we can bring Guam as the database through maybe a foreign sales corporation, and bring the big people here like the people that sell online stuff. They can come here, and the money that goes through here is going to be good for Guam, and their people will be trained in the high-tech communications business.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Our third question will be posed to Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Question number 3 will be asked by Dondi Quintans. Question panelists, you may begin.
Governor Gutierrez, Guam's economy is highly dependent upon tourism and the military. What types of new sustainable investment opportunities would your administration encourage and develop?
Thank you. The contributing factor to our economy, which we have no control of, except that we market tourism, and the business, the military make their determination on their own. What I would like to do, as I did in 1995, when the Asian economic bubble burst, I pulled all the community together, the businessmen, and we made an economic trip to everywhere in Asia, selling Guam as the perfect place, the American flag flying here, bring them here, and build some kind of job opportunities for our people. That needs to be done right now. I know that the military has been slowed down, but if the governor steps in and becomes the leader instead of a polarizer, we will get that built up here quickly, so we can concentrate on bringing other kinds of factions, other kinds of jobs like high-tech telecommunications here.
Thank you, Governor Candidate Gutierrez. Governor Candidate Calvo, you have 1 minute for your rebuttal.
Thank you. I was looking at the newspaper just 2 days ago, and if you looked at the WAN ads, I counted all the job ads, total of 250 positions that companies are looking for employees. It's already happening. It starts with a stable government and a stable island economy. Look at it. We're A status. Our budget is balanced. Services are improving. So we have a stable government. But with that stable government now, looking towards what potential? green technology, sustainability. I'm working with the University of Guam on sustainability. So we have green technology, and whether it's in energy production or in agriculture. My only QC I've ever given has been for a hydroponics farm. You go to a restaurant at the hotel, you're probably gonna eat lettuce and tomato that was grown in Guam. We're constructing a farmer's co-op, a fisherman's co-op. This is to encourage our local farmers and fishermen to be a part of this industry. And we're also looking at a piggery, at a poultry farm, and a slaughterhouse. We're bringing in cattle and livestock from Tinian. We're going to be sustainable.
Governor candidate Calvo. Our fourth question will be posed to Governor candidate Calvo. Question number 4 will be asked by Tasha Wade. Question panelist, you may begin.
Your opponents have spoken of flaws in your political ideology. What is your response to those statements?
If I believed I had a flaw in my political ideology, then it wouldn't be my political ideology. So I don't have a flaw. That's my opponent saying it. What I do believe, if you've seen my style, it's a government administration that understands it serves the people. It works for the people. It's not a dictatorial governor. That means you can work with an elected board of education. You can elect with a public audit. You can work with an elected public auditor. You can work with an elected CCU. You can work with autonomous boards. You can work with the legislature. We may not always agree. There may be a little bit shouting every so often, but we finally come to a consensus. What is my ideology? It's about us as a family coming together to work together. That's the politics of the past. Fighting. I'm in control. I'm number one. That is not the ideology of the Calvo Tenorio administration.
Thank you, Governor candidate Calvo. Governor candidate Gutierrez, you have 1 minute for your rebuttal.
Thank you. I think your first statement is that you don't have a flaw in your political ideology. Is your political ideology. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think you have a political ideology, you certainly established one over the last 4 years, and that's short-term thinking. It's buying votes, getting past the next election. Those ideas are not part. When you give away $3.6 million of our tax money that could go to the Department of Education, to police, that's the problem. The political ideology is what can you get right now, either for your family or yourself. That's what your political ideology is. Make hay while the sun shines.
Thank you, Governor candidate Gutierrez. My time flies when we're having fun. Thank you very much, Governor candidates. This concludes our third and final round of questions. After a short commercial break, we will return for the closing statements of the candidates.
Buenas, this is Madeline Bordallo. I have dedicated a lifetime of service to our people as a delegate, lieutenant governor, senator, and first lady. I am proud to join the other first ladies in support of the Gutierrez Umatao team.
Hapade mabuhay. This is Joanne Camacho. We need leaders that truly have us in their hearts. This election is not about party, but voting for the team that will help all the people of Guam. Carl and my cousin Gary are committed to doing just that.
Our lives have always been about helping people. Guaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Golf importante esta elección para eliminaulik todo y tautauta. In gagagawham sa por favor, bota ya sa Guaho si Carl Gutierrez para gobierno, san si Gary Gumatauto para teniente gobierno.
Please vote for the team that will make a positive difference.
Please vote for the team that offers leadership for all.
Please vote Gutierrez Gumatauto.
I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Half a day, I'm Adonis Mendiola. Preparing our young adults for employment is an important part of my job as Director at Department of Youth Affairs. That's why I teamed up with Guam Community College and the Department of Education to establish Career Technical Education. This training program allows young adults to get job ready while at DYA. As your senator, I will use my experience to develop more and better training programs. On election day, I ask for just one of your votes to continue working hard to make Guam better for all of us.
Mga kababayan, akin po kayo'y inaalok. Nabubuto natin uli si Calvo para uunlad ang ating bayan ng uli. Salamat po kung kayo'y nakikinig sa akin. Guam is beautiful and it's wonderful island to live. We need the governor to protect us, and Eddie Calvo is the right man.
I am Mayor Melissa Savares of Dedido. The health and safety of people in my village has always been important to me. Since coming into office, Senator Brant McCready has always put the protection of all our families at the forefront. Senator McCready's laws protect our most vulnerable victims and Guam's families while being tough on violent career criminals. Join me in re-electing Brant McCready for Senator. Re-elect Senator Brant McCready, number 9 Republican.
Half a day. This is Jerry Gutierrez. It's people like you that make Guam a special place. Ask yourselves, which team running for your governor, lieutenant governor, can you truly relate to? Carl and Gary understand your hardships. They have lived through many of the same struggles. Carl and Gary are just like you. Please vote Gutierrez Kumatauta. Si Zeus Maasi, and maraming salamat po. Buenas, kuaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Itaw-tauta muna gof espesyalista itangota. Paisin may sa Hanzo, hadzi ni malalago para gobyerno zan tinenti gobyerno mas pareho zan Hanzo. Si Carl zan si Gary, mag-gof komprendi pinadesi sa megi na sinat sa gama falapang wilokwi. Man pareho Hanzo zan si Carl zan si Gary. Panoki zan fan makwenta, por favor, panhuzong zan bota si Gutierrez kumatawtaw. Say na maasi.
Half a day, I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Half a day, I'm Dina McCready. To my husband, Senator Brant McCready, and I, there is nothing more precious than family. That's why Brant introduced legislation that protects Guam's families. He wants to keep drug dealers, pedophiles, and other career criminals out of our neighborhoods and away from our children. Please re-elect my husband, Senator Brant McCready.
Number 9 Republican.
Si Zeus Maasi.
Ali, ang kle katamiana Salvador, ikam lang momre kaluy Iraq, kle Democrat, all time, yak namsang kal gobernador, luasing malungil gobernador, lungusir up to kalat, makulingit, batasing curingil, mutel maikal 4 years, ang malungil moraro kuy, adrab lurakwam, sulang.
Half a day, I'm Rudy Matanani, Mayor of Jigo. And I am Robert Lizama, former Mayor of Jigo. One thing we agree on is the leadership of Senator Brant McCready. Rudy and I are both family men. And one thing that we agree is the safety of our community. Brant McCready's laws protect our children and our grandchildren from career criminals. Senator Brant McCready is a great senator. Please join us in re-electing Senator Brant McCready for our community and our future.
Buenas, this is Madeline Bordallo. I have dedicated a lifetime of service to our people as a delegate, lieutenant governor, senator, and first lady. I am proud to join the other first ladies in support of the Gutierrez Umatao team.
Hafide Mabuhay. This is Joanne Camacho. We need leaders that truly have us in their hearts. This election is not about party, but voting for the team that will help all the people of Guam. Carl and my cousin Gary are committed to doing just that.
Our lives have always been about helping people. Guaho si Jerry Gutierrez. Gof importante esta eleksyon para iminaulig todo itaw-tauta. In gagagawham sa por favor, bota ya sa Guaho si Carl Gutierrez para gobyerno, san si Gary Gumatauto para teniente gobyerno.
Please vote for the team that will make a positive difference.
Please vote for the team that offers leadership for all.
Please vote Gutierrez Gumatauto.
I am Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this ad.
Half a day. I'm Senator Brant McCready. My family and I are blessed to call Guam home, and I will do everything in my power to protect Guam and our people. I continue to work with my colleagues across party lines to ensure the safety of our communities and our families. I am humbled for your confidence in making me one of your senators. Please give me another opportunity to serve you. Si Sus Masi.
It's a variety of people that we have on this island, which is very beautiful. Like Governor Calvo doesn't care whether you're green or red or yellow. He's very concerned of the poor people. And he went out there and asked them, what can you do? How can I help? I want him to continue. How much more, only these 4 years? How much more if we gave him another 4 years?
Welcome back to the last segment of the 2014 Gubernatorial Great Debates, live from the University of Guam Fieldhouse. Before we get into the closing statements by candidates, I want to recognize a dignitary who has joined us this evening, Margaret Metcalf, candidate for Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to recognize the decorum of this large crowd. You've been very respectful of the event, and I want to applaud you for your great behavior. We will now proceed to the closing statements of the teams of candidates in the order chosen by lot. Each candidate team is allowed 3 minutes for their closing statement. We will begin with the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Raymond Tenorio, candidate for Lieutenant Governor, and the Honorable Governor Edward Calvo, candidate for Governor of Guam. Please approach the podium for your closing statement. For both of you. 3 minutes for both of you. Together. Each team will have 3 minutes.
Last year, I sponsored an essay contest, How I Will Change the World After Graduating from High School. And I was reading one of the entries, and it was from a young man from Inaran Middle School named Davin J. Quintanilla. I'm going to read what he wrote. I will go to college and study medical research, and I hope to one day find a cure for AIDS, cancer, diabetes, and arthritis. I know this will take a lot of hard work, but if I can do this, then I believe I've made a change in the world. People will live longer and they'll be spending more time with their families. The whole world will be happier. And I may not succeed, but I'm willing to work hard, just like so many others who are trying. Davin is an example of what families in our schools are raising right now. His confidence is symbolic of the changing times here in Guam. 12 years ago, we were broken, beaten. My opponent took over in a time of prosperity from the ADA administration. And 8 years less led us into the direction of poverty and hopelessness. Ray and I came to office and asked you to walk with us in a different direction. And because you had that courage to believe in yourselves again, you changed Guam and you repaired that damage that he did, and you stood up with confidence with Guam. This election is a difference between right and wrong, between love and division and pointing fingers. And if you believe that Guam is better off today than it was 12 years ago, that you are better off today, and you said it yourself, yes, than it was 12 years ago, then you know that Guam is headed in the right direction. You and everyone else will be better off in 4 years. When you elect Calvo Tenorio in November 4th, and it's not words of evil that was just said and separation and anger. It's about inafamaulik, what makes our beautiful people so beautiful. About love. About throwing 20 years of a political recipe that had torn our people apart. It is a new century and a new generation moving in the right direction. One people who are committed to loving one another. When this election is over And when we win victory for the people, we will embrace everyone. The right direction, sunshine, Maulik. We are all one people, one island, one Guam. And this, my final debate, in my final election, I thank you so much. God bless you, the people of Guam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For their closing statement, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For their closing statement, I introduce Attorney Gary Gumatautau, candidate for Lieutenant Governor of Guam, and the Honorable former Governor Carl Gutierrez to give their closing statement.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, although you won't know it, I was born before the war. And going through the war, going through the concentration camp, hungry, malnourished, I wasn't thinking about what I'm going to do after high school. We were thinking about how are we going to feed our family. Growing up in that era, knowing my wife, whose mother was killed just going in Manyangun while the mother was shielding her, we grew up in an era of Inafamolik, the real Inafamolik. It's not just a buzzword. We actually live the Chamorro culture where families share and everybody gets to be taken care of. They're not going to be marginalized. What I have done, ladies and gentlemen, Mananata Manilu, when I won in 1994, the first time I ran for governor, Jerry and I cried that night. We cried so loud and so hard because finally, all through my life, when no one in government was looking out for my family, hungry, jobless, I felt that one of these days I might be in a position to be able to not allow that to happen to any soul here on Guam. We cried that night because I thank you, God, you finally gave me an opportunity to help the poor people that have been marginalized. People out there in the north, while everybody was enjoying water, power, telephone down in the central, thousands of our people couldn't get water, power, telephone, or even street lights. When I went in there and I searched them and I found ways to bring them into the 20th century before it went out in 1995, ladies and gentlemen, that's the biggest thing that hit our hearts. The people of Guam are one family. We cannot ignore them. Jerry and I are going to be there for you. Gary's going to be there for you. Mananata Manilu. Siyempre, inatendihan nyo tagwiha, inatendihan nyo gimanmapos. Pabinspia empeño tayo mano, tana siguro na manaadyo dahil mo na tapanaguti ka na mga masokta, don tunatendi domuno ibisinumo, ajuda, sa ajigit mas na sita pa ako, itapandanya sa utungwa na man Christian jo, man taichichu amjo, man maano hamjo galungguma, hongi jo, mananaw na babay, matempo pa ako. Ladies and gentlemen, please, we're going to take care the way we were, accessible. We're not going to run this government by press releases. We're going to go out there and meet you, and we're going to take care of you, and we're going to make sure that there's a safety net for those people that could not be taken care of. Mga kababayan, malapit ang halalan. Para sa iyo, ang halalan nga ito. Si Jose Marce, maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Governor, candidate, and lieutenant.
And there you have it. We are now 5 days away from the general election. It was another great debate for the students here at the University of Guam, as well as between the gubernatorial teams. And we want to know who you thought or how you thought they responded to the issues. Please go to KUAM News Facebook page and vote on our poll. Now, the candidates answered an array of questions this evening, starting with the opening comments. We'll recap them now. Governor Calvo, he started by saying that he wanted to stand up for his integrity. He said his opponent spent so many weeks on a lie. He's talking, of course, about the tax write-off controversy for his family. He said that he never gave them any tax write-offs. He said, you're looking in the wrong place. This is not a Gutierrez administration. He said it's about who you are going to trust. As for Gutierrez, he talked about the people's movement. He said he had a proven record for standing up for people no matter what. He said people are hurting. Healthcare is rising. Crime is rising. He said the government is hurting people, not helping people. He said Guam's future is one of unimaginable debt. Now, Gary Gumatao, he also spoke during the opening comments, and he said you gave tax write-offs to business associates. He called this administration corrupt. He said the last time he checked, if you rob a bank and you gave the money to the people, you are still a crook. As for one of the first questions that were posed by the students here at the University of Guam, it dealt with education and its connection to the economy. Calvo said he worked with the Guam Education Board to improve facilities, as well as working with DOE to expand Ukadu, to open Untalon Middle School, as well as Teedson High School. He talked about expanding pre-K. He said we need to work with partners with DOE to grow the economy as opposed to taking over the Department of Education. As for Gutierrez, he said even in disasters in 1997, he had a AAA rating. He said you are marginalizing and discriminating against people by not hiring people without a diploma. He said he wants to change the way the Department of Education is being managed. He also talked about how the chief executive needs to be involved with DOE and that they should not be taken out of the decisions for the Department of Education. The candidates were also asked a question about homelessness and how they would deal with it in their administration. Gutierrez said homelessness is caused by hopelessness, and people over the last 4 years have lost hope. He said helping people raise $2 million and to help people who are homeless. He said you get 2 for 1 with his administration. You get Carl and you get former First Lady Jerry Gutierrez. He said this government has no heart and no compassion. As for Governor Calvo, he said we have 5 new homeless shelters. They're building affordable homes. He said that a lot of these problems concerning homelessness are connected to drug use, and he plans on working with programs like Oasis to deal with those issues. He said he's working to get homeless people jobs. There was also a question about better working relationships with the legislature. Governor Calvo said that he's had disagreements, but it's never been personal. It's never been a war. He said he worked together, for example, they worked together on the bond to pay tax refunds. He worked with this legislature to pay debts and sins of his opponents. As for Gutierrez, he said his biggest problem wasn't working with the legislature. He said he has worked and will work with the Democrats to work on a platform. He said Calvo left them with no money to work with in the future. Now, they also talked about the new hospital, the new private hospital, and how they will ensure the Guam Memorial Hospital meets its mission, as well as how they will handle a possible Ebola outbreak. Governor Calvo said that he should, or Governor Gutierrez, or Governor Calvo said that he brought the owners of the new hospital and GMH together to let GRMC pay their fair share. And this is actually, Governor Gutierrez who said that. He said your Washington people haven't done anything to address healthcare disparities, and he's talking about Calvo. He said that you can't just sit here and pay merit bonuses. As for Calvo's response, he accused him of mismanagement. He said, we made lots of investments in GMH. There's a new ER, renovations in the labor and delivery ward. He said GMH is working on an urgent care facility. Calvo also said that they're working on a 50% increase in the pharmaceutical fund. And he thanked Governor Felix Camacho. Well, we are going to take a break, but we'll be back with our D14 analysts in a moment. Again, we want you to vote on KUAM's Facebook page and tell us who you thought won tonight's debate. Stay tuned. You're watching KUAM's live coverage of the great debates from the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse.
Magandang araw po. Ako po si Roy Adonai. When Super Typhoon Yolanda hit the Philippines last year, it devastated many of the lives of our brothers and sisters. Governor Eddie Baza Calvo and Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio immediately responded to this need. Even before the typhoon hit the Philippines, they put together a coalition to address this particular challenge. We need to continue to have responsive leaders that will make sure that the needs of its people are being thought of first. This is a true trademark of the Calvo Tenorio team, the true responsive leaders here in Guam. Pinaalala ko lang po sa ating mga kababayan ang mga tulong na ginawa sa atin ng ating pong gobernador. Sana po'y maalala natin ang kanilang pagtulong at pagpatuloy po natin ang pagsuporta sa team po ng Calvo Tenorio. Maraming salamat po.
When I became a mom, I had to make smart choices, like choosing Docomo Pacific for my growing family. It's really a smart choice. I save money by bundling on the best TV, mobile, online, and home phone services on island, with the convenience of managing just one bill.
When you're a smart mom, you make the right choices.
So we bundle with Docomo Pacific. The choice is clear.
As you live on Guam, when you go around right now, you see the change, the good. You know, so why change that? You know what I mean? If it's benefiting me and it benefits my kids, why would I want to change? You know, I sat down with Ray Tenorio once, and he told me his plans, and I love it. I like it. My name is Marcin Augustine. I'm voting for Calvo Tenorio. People, let's go 4 more years.
In celebration of its 20th year, TFC, together with Western Union and Cebu Pacific, for the benefit of the EMC Cancer Foundation, presents Galing ng Filipino, a TFC 20 celebration, starring Mr. Pure Energy Gary Valenciano, Asia's acoustic sensation Isa Segura, Mr. Super Selfie Gab Valenciano, Dental Diva Kakay Bautista, at the University of Guam Fieldhouse, November 8. Get your tickets at Shell stations and National Office Supply. For details, visit www.tpiguam.com. Like us on Facebook. Galing ng Filipino, a TFC 20 celebration. Also brought to you by San Miguel, Jollibee, Camellia Homes, Ayala Land, Outrigger, Shell, and our partners KUAM, Megamix, Bayanihan. Don't miss it.
Hafa Guam, I'm John Tuck, a local boy who achieved his dream and made it all the way to the UFC. Achieving your goals isn't easy. It starts with a solid plan and takes hard work, discipline, and a commitment to be the best. That's the way Governor Calvo and Lieutenant Governor Tenorio are leading our island. They are strong leaders that fight for the people every single day because they believe Guam deserves the best. Please join me in re-electing Eddie and Ray 4 more years.
In celebration of its 20th year, TFC, together with Western Union and Cebu Pacific, for the benefit of the EMC Cancer Foundation, presents Galing ng Filipino, a TFC 20 celebration, starring Mr. Pure Energy Gary Valenciano, Asia's acoustic sensation Isa Segura, Mr. Super Selfie Gab Valenciano, Dental Diva Kakay Bautista, at the University of Guam Fieldhouse, November 8. Get your tickets at Shell stations and National Office Supply. For details, visit www.tpiguam.com. Like us on Facebook. Galing ng Filipino, a TFC 20 celebration. Also brought to you by San Miguel, Jollibee, Camellia Homes, Ayala Land, Outrigger, Shell, and our partners KUAM, Megamix, Bayanihan. Don't miss it.
Much of First Lady Christine Calvo's life has been spent caring for children. Through her Regalu Foundation, Christine has been working tirelessly to find homes for Guam's foster children.
Children are the most precious gifts God has given us. This is what motivates my husband, Eddie. Everything he does as governor helps to build a better and stronger Guam for our children. Please re-elect Calvo Tenorio, the right direction for our children.
Emily Umpinko, Treasurer.
About a year ago, I was at a function, and this young lady and her husband came to me. And she was a mother of a beautiful young girl that had cancer. Unfortunately, the disease took its toll, and she passed on. The mother said, you know, she loved you so much that I want to give you this prayer. she had this prayer with her every day. So since I got that prayer, I've kept it in my pocket. And it's a simple prayer. In a nutshell, good Lord, allow me one more day. Allow me one more day. Just be with me this one more day. And it's a prayer she said every day. Isn't that beautiful? That's just one story of hundreds of other stories of the beautiful people that I've met. So you see why this job is so rewarding. Great people.
People for the right direction. Emily Umpinko, Treasurer.
Welcome back to KWIM's live coverage of the great debates here at the University of Guam, Calvo Fieldhouse. I'm Sabrina Sauce-Matanani, joined by our D14 analysts. Guys, what did you think about tonight's debate? Start with you, Ron.
Well, I have a bias. It was a great debate. It was a wonderful event, and we had a lot of fun, lots of views, and the candidates did a great job.
Was it just me, or did it seem a little more tame?
It was a little tamer, but again, Gary Gimatalta came out. It was still an angry campaign. The toughest thing about this whole thing, because Governor Gutierrez in the very beginning, he says, when I become governor, I'm going to go to Asia. Gary Gimatalta is going to run the day-to-day government. He's a mad, unpolished, angry lieutenant governor candidate, But Jim Carrey says, if you ain't desperate, you ain't interesting. That's what happened tonight.
Do you think he came off angry, Tony?
No, I mean, I have a little different take than Senator Lujan. I think the Democrats showed a lot of passion in what they were talking about. I like to think that it was more passion than anger. They clearly want to be able to help the people of Guam. They have some ideas that they want to move forward with. I think Governor Calvo and Lieutenant Governor Snoyo did a good job of defending their record. I have my own tally sheet. I think the Gutierrez camp offered up a couple more ideas. I have them drawing on a couple of different issues, but I think overall the energy was great. It's a partisan crowd. What's going to make a difference is how their message and the delivery of that message communicates to the people at home.
Yeah, speaking of message, I think I was kind of hoping they weren't going to go back to what we've seen over the last couple of weeks from the Rotary debates. But they wasted no time to go right to the heart and soul of, okay, let's start fighting back and forth again. This was a big forum and a big opportunity for both candidates to say, here's what I'm going to do for 4 years. Never mind the noise. Let's go right to the public policy side. They started off kind of punching each other really quickly. Yeah. But as it progressed, I mean, the lieutenant governor's candidates showed a lot of different insight into their planning, especially on the environment, which we hadn't heard before. And I got to say, it was tame, but I was hoping that it would go right to the heart of public policy today, and I didn't get that at the very beginning.
Did you guys hear anything new tonight?
No. I mean, these were questions again over the past, I guess, few months that they had debates. These were the questions, same kind of answers. Again, little tamer tonight than probably previous in the Rotary and also with the Guam Medical Association. I like to sum it up in this. A couple days ago, I heard a YouTube speech that the Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio had said. He said, "Imagine waking up Wednesday morning and reading the outlines. Gutierrez wins Adelude." I'll just let the people of Guam have that nightmare for the evening.
Well, that's not. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily bad. I understand where we're both coming from. We're partisans up here, in some respect. I have no problem if I wake up Wednesday morning and says Gutierrez Gumatapta, the governor, the lieutenant governor of Guam.
One thing that I was keen on was this idea of the growing the telecommunications. We spent a lot of time talking about tourism and the military, but it goes back to one of the core of Governor Gutierrez's his 8 years. He was trying to bring in this whole idea of the undersea cabling and telecommunications, which has blossomed. And so that was probably the only thing that we didn't hear in the last couple of weeks. And he's bringing back an issue, and we'll see what happens and see how much farther he can take it this next time if he gets elected.
You think anybody changed their minds tonight?
I think everybody made their decision already at this point. Maybe there are probably a few out there, that may be swayed one way or another by this debate. But I think in general, I think everyone has made up their mind at this point. And if they haven't made up their mind, they're probably not going to make up their mind. They're probably not going to vote.
I think a lot of minds are going to be changed this weekend because people are going to be having a long weekend. And to be frank, there's a lot of drinking going on in this kind of weekend, and people always change their mind. That doesn't mean they're going to change anything else. It just means that there's going to be a lot of arguments and things like that in terms of who they like and who they don't like. One other thing is, one of the reasons this debate sometimes is a little bit tame is if they screw up here, it can be a fatal error. And so they're really careful about not making that big mistake here. And so that's part of the game too. So.
Well, in that regard, I don't think there were many flaws then on behalf of both camps. I think the weekend is going to be critical. The base of each camp has been energized by this debate. It's the last debate before the election. Ron's right. Over the weekend, people are going to talk. Again, the base is energized. So they're going to go out there and try to sway voters that haven't been swayed yet. I'm not sure what that number is, but I think my general feeling as I go around on the islands, people think it's going to be a close race. So the weekend will be the tell-all.
Right, and trick or treating or not, and all that aside, and All Souls Day, people are going to be at the tables. They're going to be watching this rebroadcast. They're going to be watching the broadcast, and they're going to be talking about it. And did they clearly say to me what 4 years is going to mean for a Governor Gutierrez administration? Or what does the 4 years look like under Governor Calvo again? That is going to be the biggest table discussion that I think that it's going to really drive decision making on Super Tuesday.
Yeah, I personally don't think it's going to be a close race. I think it's going to be a runaway race, basically, with the Calvo Tenorio. We got to remember that this election, Carl Gutierrez is not running with Frank Huggen Jr. That candidate, that lieutenant governor, brought in a big voting bloc. They love Frank Huggen Jr. People. Again, do you love Gary Gumatauta? Do you love this behavior? Do you love him to be the governor of Guam? When that question was asked, if you were governor of Guam, what would you do? And things of that nature. If something happened to the governor, you would be governor. This is the I guess the mannerism, the unpolishedness that we're going to have with Gary Gumatauta. I think it's going to be an early evening.
I think what you're seeing is a career attorney who knows how to defend his client, and in this case, as a candidate for lieutenant governor, his client is going to be the people of Guam, and I think that's where you're seeing the passion. He may be obviously an unpolished politician, but it doesn't take away from his energy and his determination to fight for the people of Guam. I think that's what the Democrats are trying to communicate. That's what Carl Gutierrez and Gary Gumatauta are trying to communicate. I've been to many Democratic functions. They're united this year. We'll see how close it is.
Wow, feels like great debate part 2 right here.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they're so united. The only Berdalio I saw here was in the Calvo Tenorio camp.
Well, and they're so united. While I was sitting around waiting, I saw Joanne Camacho do a commercial with the First Lady Jerry Gutierrez.
You know, and my thought is this: gubernatorial politics is a game of addition. Now, what we've seen over the last couple months is the complete opposite of that. So it was only a small margin that Governor Calvo won the last time. That number, the 488 number, I believe what that number was, that's going to reduce. Now, I've been hearing different numbers. The gap's now been closed. With 5 days to go, this debate is going to change the complexion of what will happen on Tuesday. There's no doubt. It is not going to be a 3-1 blowout, as Jesse's talking about. It's going to be so much tighter. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, as Jesse says, but wait and see.
It's going to be a blowout.
Wait and see.
Well, I guess we can debate this on election
on Super
night.
Tuesday.
All right, on Super
Yeah.
Tuesday. And our live coverage starts at 10 o'clock. Let's head back to the studio from all of us here at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse. Thanks for watching. Jason, I understand you have some results.
All right, indeed I do, Sabrina. And, thank you so much to the gentleman who served as our political analyst. Very, very poignant insight from those very esteemed gentlemen. Very good comments on what happened, putting all the matters of tonight's debate, a very, very historic moment in our great island's history, giving it some context, giving it some perspective, and very valued. And once again, it was mentioned in the debate, of course, the candor and the behavior of the crowd there. They were very, very respectful. They were obviously very passionate, but, we have seen a lot worse, and people even getting, to the crass side, but definitely that was not the case tonight. The crowd was very respectful, so they are to be commended. All right, speaking of crowd, we had a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Trust me when I tell you, you only saw the half of it. There were a lot of people right now using what we call the second screen experience. So people were streaming us on our YouTube channel, like youtube.com/KUAN News, and they were actually engaging in our chat room, watching the stream, and then watching on TV. It was an unbelievable experience. Let's go ahead and bring up some of those comments now, because we got a ton, and you can visit them right now by going to our Facebook fan page and our YouTube channel. Right off the bat, We have some comments, and Ryukyu Boy, who was one of our most vocal commenters throughout the night, said, I didn't think either candidate addressed education issues very well. This was, of course, the very first question that the gubernatorial candidates, of course, former Governor Carl Gutierrez and current incumbent Governor Eddie Calvo tackled. Ryukyu Boy didn't feel they either did very well, as he said. Next is Ianism1, who said, again, about round one. Round one was spent taking cheap shots and answering questions in third person for their respective opponents. That's a very good opinion, and we talked about this online. You can actually go, once again, view the entire chat session. There's some really good comments that'll make you laugh as well. Going back to Ryukyu Boy, he also said Calvo, he felt, was the better speaker, but not sure that the incumbent governor's message was proved to be much better than that of Gutierrez. Again, good comments. Jay Avery was another person who was active in our chat room, and he says, woohoo to both candidates. Responses to increasing UOG tuition rates. Jay Avery, evidently one of our younger viewers who had a very strong connection to the University of Guam. Someone we know because we've interviewed her a lot of times here, Faye Varias. She was very, very active on Twitter, and you can use the hashtag right now, The Great Guam, or The Great Debate Guam, and you can see all of the various tweets, the Instagram posts, the Facebook posts, what everybody was thinking. Faye posted a lot. This is one of her better ones. She said, deflecting the question and attacking the opponent isn't great debating. That's a great point, Faye. Thank you very much for playing. Lisa Guam has been with us for many, many months, and she joined in, so shout out to Lisa. I told her I'd give her a nice shout out here when we went on the air. She says, use federal money the way it was supposed to be used, like the FEMA funds that disappeared and were unaccounted for after the past storms. This actually set off a storm of its own online. A lot of people talked about this. We debated it for many, many minutes after the candidates talked about this, so check it out. Rachel Esteves is somebody that you know if you are into the nighttime music scene. She's a very, very talented performer. And she says those opening statements just sold me on who I'm voting for. But that was a good comment, but she kind of said in an abstract way. She didn't exactly say who she was endorsing. Next Level Guam said, right now this cop is selling the point better. Of course, speaking about Ray Tenorio. The lawyer, speaking about Gary Gumatauto, obviously, gets the thugs off the hook that the cops get off the streets. He's got some really good comments. You need to check those out in the chat log. Going back to Ryukyu Boy, he says, I don't care much for the personal attacks in this debate. More respect to those to address the issues and solutions. And another person that had some really good comments was Christiana Joe Kanata that says, no mention of sustainable jobs. Military buildup doesn't last forever. So once again, thank you to everybody who is engaging with us online. Again, you can check us out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on KUAM.com. You can actually watch the entire debate from the beginning right now. Once again, youtube.com/KUAM News. You can watch the video on demand. All right. So without further ado, we will get to KUAM's programming as scheduled, but we want to show you the results of our poll, which we did on Facebook. And we asked what team you felt did a better job at addressing all of the various topics tonight. It was very, very rapid pace, very exciting. And so you felt that the Calvo Tenorio team did a decidedly better job. The Calvo Tenorio team, according to your votes, had a 78% to 22% advantage over the Gutierrez Gumatauto team. So thank you everybody for engaging with us, and thank you for participating. Everybody said they really enjoyed it, and we certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. That's going to do it for our live coverage of the great debates from UOG. Thank you so much once again for watching. I'm Jason Salas, and on behalf of the entire KUAM cast and crew, our analysts, our online users, and the cast of thousands out there, everybody that participated, Sidus Masi, and good night.
This lineup is brought to you by IT&E, Life in Motion.